Good morning. It is a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. I'm Glenn Clark. He's Griffin. And unfortunately, at some point this morning, Drew Forrester will probably be here. If he doesn't, it's just totally fine. That's quite all right by me. But, I don't know, allegedly, he wants to come back in studio today for reasons. He was probably going to want to talk about the golf tournament because he was down at Pinehurst yesterday. I'll engage him for 3 minutes. I'll give him 3 solid minutes of golf talk. That'll be what I allow him. Coming up on the program today, we will chat with Jim Bowden. Try to get a clearer picture of what the Orioles' options might be going towards the trade deadline. Starting pitching, relievers, right-handed bats. What is out there? What will be out there? What could be out there? What's it going to cost? We're going to try to break all that down with Jim Bowden, former MLB GM, now, of course, with SiriusXM and CBS and, the whole deal. So we'll catch up with Jim Bowden in a bit. The Athletic, I believe he's there as well. And we'll make a trip to Norfolk where we will catch up with Chayce McDermott, who, with Cade Povich having arrived, I guess now defaults into being the top pitching prospect in the Orioles system. So we'll catch up with Chayce McDermott a little bit later on as well. You might hear my voice. It's not as bad as it's been sometimes.
You were belting those guitar riffs. And
I was having a time. I had a great time last night. Obviously, if you missed it, I went and saw the Stones up in Philadelphia. I'd never seen them before. Had a great time. Great spot. Mix sounded great, man. Keith Richards does not look great, but he didn't look great 40 years ago. So nothing's changed there. It's a miracle that man is alive. Just couldn't have had a better time. Awesome. 2 hours, them rocking out, and just loved it. Just loved it. So I've said there ain't much left on the bucket list for your old pal GC. I've seen him. Like, this has been a thing for me. I'm a music person. This is what I love. I've seen Paul McCartney now. I've seen Prince. I've seen Stevie Wonder. I've seen Outkast. I've seen U2. I've seen Springsteen. I've seen AC/DC, I've seen Aerosmith, I've seen Black Sabbath, Bob Dylan, Van Morrison, Willie Nelson, Jimmy. I've seen just about everybody. I was talking about it with Rita last night on the radio. I was like, what even would still be on my list? I'm really mad at myself that I missed Diana Ross when she was in town a couple weeks ago. I'm furious. I just I believe it was Mother's Day, and so I got lost in like Mother's Day stuff and totally freaking forgot about it, and I'm furious with myself that I didn't get to the Diana Ross show because I would have loved to have seen her, and maybe that would still be on my bucket list. My buddy and I figured out.
Just always blame it on your mom. Huh?
Yeah, right. It's mom's fault. My buddy and I figured out. I've never seen Metallica. I don't know how that's possible. They played in Baltimore many times. I don't know how I've missed every time they've come to town, but so I guess that would still be one that would be on the old bucket list. But it is a small list now. This was the biggest one. This was the one that was out there that I had never seen the Stones. So I was so glad that I did. You never look, man.
Congratulations.
Well, I don't think I didn't do anything. I just went and saw the Stones.
You said you crossed off another bucket list.
Yeah, but that's not an accomplishment. That's just
you should feel good about it.
No, that's not what.
You're allowed to do things.
I swear to God, this is like my wife. Whenever you buy a car, she's like, "Congratulations." I'm like, "No, that's not it. I spent a lot of money. I didn't earn." I didn't do something to earn the car. I didn't, go through a program that they said, hey, if you do a certain number of push-ups, then you can get this car. Then you say congratulations because it's an accomplishment. I just bought a car. I gave them money. They gave me service. That's how it's a transaction. That's how it worked. But yeah, it was a great night. Great night. I put a bunch of videos up on Facebook and Twitter. I just could not have had a better time. Great set. Some personally, obviously, if you heard my top 10 list the other night, there was some stuff that I would have loved. It would have been a good night for our buddy Spiro. He got a lot of what. Actually, it was probably a mix of our two lists. More I think about it. Awesome. Could not have enjoyed it more. So I did have the phone out, and I was watching as much of the Orioles game as I could, obviously with the sound off and the being kind of intermittent, choppy internet once I got into Philadelphia. And inside of it's also inside a football stadium with 80,000 other people that are all trying to use the same internet. So it wasn't a perfect circumstance trying to follow along with what was going on in the Orioles game last night, but I certainly got the gist, and I saw Jorge Mateo's home run, and I had told Griffin that I would let him chime in. And ultimately, I actually let him pick man of the match. So those of you that are mad, you got to address it with Griffin, because I gave him the two choices.
People are
and
mad?
I get it. A couple people were like, dude, you really didn't even consider Austin Hayes? I'm like,
I had it. He was considered.
Yeah. But I thought ultimately it came down to they scored 4 runs, and Jorge Mateo was responsible for 3 of them, or Albert Suarez, who obviously pitched 5 1/3 shutout innings. Griffin, your choice for man of the match last night was? George Matthew, huh?
Yeah, George Matthew.
Old George Matthew and the George Matthews band. Why did you choose?
Well, because like most people, I am romantic about baseball.
Okay.
And obviously he only missed 7 days, or I guess it was 8 days, whatever it ended up officially being. But just like right as soon as he gets back into the lineup, delivers a massive hit, to one of the deepest parts of the ballpark, and it gives them a 3-run lead that they obviously do not relinquish. Obviously, Big Al had a really strong start too, but he did walk a few guys.
Yeah, you complained about the number of base runners in the text that you sent.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't a complaint, but
no, I believe it was personal. I believe you said something like, "I hate him.
Personal.
I hate him. I don't want to see him in an alley anytime soon."
If he ever puts on another base runner. No, I mean it was tough. It was really tough between the two of them, but I was very happy to see Jorge Mateo back out there, and which is seems at some points where we were this season, and even last season. It feels weird to be saying that, so I'm really happy for him. I guess it's almost, you could say it's almost weirder, if we were having this conversation last year that we're discussing Albert Suarez being.
Yes, much weirder. Jorge Mateo unbelievably joins the 4-time man of the match club, which is insane. I mean, that's bonkers. That's Gunnar Henderson. That's Cole Irvin.
Burns.
It's just so funny. Those are the 3 that have been a 4-time man of the match this season. Jorge Mateo joins that club.
MVO.
So what?
MVO.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but sure. A couple of things from last night specifically. A couple of things. One, well, it's not really from last night. It's from earlier in the day, obviously. We did get the answer because Jorge Mateo came back. We got the answer on the roster move, and it was Connor Norby. And as I said all along, I always default to the idea that the Orioles will make the easiest decisions, not the ones that would require an amount of pain or explanation or disappointment. It just seems like it's easy for them to default to making those types of decisions. That's the decision that they made, and that's what it is. Do I agree with it? I don't think so. But I also get that it became difficult and complicated, and none of the other decisions would have been easy. And that's what I keep coming back to, is that they like making the easy decisions. They don't like rocking the boat. And Connor Norby is still a Baltimore Oriole. He's just not going to be with the Major League Club. And you could say, hey, Connor Norby was not lighting the world on fire. This is the very awkward. It's the same conversation we had about Heston Kjerstad, but then somebody else would say, well, he didn't get the opportunity to. And it's a tough spot. And it is also still a good problem to have this many Major League caliber players. I think that we all have our own opinions. I don't think that Ramon Urias is going to be a difference maker in your ability to win a World Series. But they're saying we don't want to just lose Ramon Urias either. I get it. To some extent, at least, I get it. And they just keep wanting to drag out this Cedric Mullins situation and not do the awkward thing. So it's what it is, man. I don't have a strong take here. Perhaps you want me to, yell and scream about it and lose my mind. I don't have a strong take. I don't think that this is as simplistic as some of us want it to be. in part, I don't have a strong take because I'm not surprised. This is what I expected. But the other part is I don't have a strong take because while maybe perhaps I disagree, it's not like I think what they're doing is inherently wrong for trying to win a World Series. I don't think the difference in winning the World Series is going to be that on June 12th, Connor Norby's not on the roster and Ramon Urias is, or Connor Norby's not on the roster and Cedric Mullins still is. Now you want to flash forward and, look ahead and say maybe the difference in September is that if you had left Connor Norby here, he could have continued to develop into a real major league hitter, and then by that point, Connor Norby would be more helpful and would be more in a position to help you win a World Series, and you didn't do that? Fine, we can project if you want to project. But today, I don't think it makes a difference, and so I'm not going to lose my mind about the fact that Connor Norby was sent back down, and they didn't make a move on Cedric Mullins or Ramon Urias.
And they keep winning games. Like, they've won 500. They just swept Tampa in Tampa, and they just beat the Braves.
They're going to have to make an awkward decision at some point. It was the column that I was going to write if they had made a roster move yesterday. At some point, they're going to have to make an awkward decision. Like, that day is going to come. Whether that awkward decision is trading away one of their top guys at the deadline to go get another starting pitcher, or whether that awkward decision is to let a veteran just go because that veteran no longer helps them the way that someone else might. They can't do this forever where they put off. To this point, the boldest decision that they've made is trading away Joey Ortiz. That's the boldest decision that this front office has made. And I'm not trying to diminish that because, look, Joey Ortiz is proving to be a damn good baseball player. But that's the boldest decision they've made yet. At some point soon, they're going to have to do it. Yes, I know we're talking about sports, and you don't have it in you. I understand. Like, it's just not for you.
Well, team's 44-22.
Right.
What are you barking about?
I'm not barking about anything. What are you what you're tired today.
Oh,
you
my
just
gosh.
came back from I can see it in your
I got home 1
I'm
o'clock.
tired. You think you're tired.
Why?
I got home at 2:00 last night.
What were you doing?
I went to the Stones.
Oh, jeez. Why didn't you just sit in your yard and light up your money on fire?
Drew,
Oh, gosh.
Drew, who doesn't like anything that humans like. Drew will go on to you about how ELO will change your life, but doesn't like the Beatles or the Rolling Stones.
You went to see the Rolling Stones. Where were they?
Philly.
Oh, nice. Outside or inside?
Outside. At the football stadium.
Sold out?
Sold out.
Was it?
Ask me how much I could have gotten for my tickets.
Where'd you sit?
I was on the field.
Oh, nice.
I put out real money.
Oh, you did. Oh, yeah, you told me that. $4,000 or something like that.
Exactly.
Oh, no, you told me to say $1,000.
Right, correct.
Please
don't let Mrs. Clark know. Yeah, use the discretionary fund.
Were they? Was it good? Was it good?
Oh yeah, they were great. I mean, Keith looks awful, but like he's looked awful for 50 years. So, like,
he's not still alive. Though. That's got to be one of those
Weekend
things,
at Bernie's
right?
kind of thing.
It's got to be.
They just keep dropping him. They let him sing 3 songs last night.
I mean, I told you this before. Heroin called those two and
said, "We're out. We're sorry. You're making us look bad. Can't. I do not give you credit for anything.
Heroin.
Almost nothing you ever said is actually funny.
But
I actually
good.
I repeated that joke the other day because that one was so good.
Right.
Like that one to me was so good
right.
that I repeated it and I said,
"We met our match."
I can't believe I was on the air. I was like, I can't believe I'm about to say this.
We met our match.
But I'm going to steal a Drew Forrester. Like, I don't know what's happened to me.
We met our match.
Steal a line.
But I'm pretty sure that's one of those.
Ronnie doesn't look great either.
Yeah,
Neither one of them looks
called holograms.
Yeah, they're just holograms.
Mick
looks like he's 50. Like,
right.
It's unbelievable.
80, right?
Yes, he's 80.
He's 80 years
He looks
old?
good. He sounds great. Like he's still doing. At one point, he sprinted
He's still having kids
down the catwalk. Probably.
Oh, I'm sure.
My God,
He's
man.
trying, if nothing else.
It's unreal, that guy. But the other two, they don't look good. But the band sounds good. Now they're the only 3, and obviously.
Now where is this in the? I'm looking right now. Where is this in terms of the?
What?
Are they halfway through the tour? Or just started.
This is not a very long tour. This is.
Okay.
I think they're doing like 20-ish dates. Like.
Okay, so last night. How long did they play for?
2 hours. They played. They got on the stage at 9:30. They finished at 11:30.
Okay, start me up.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it was a banger of a set list.
It's only rock and roll, but
Yeah.
let's spend the night
Let's
together.
spend the night
Hangry,
together,
She's a
yeah.
rainbow, Monkey Man, tumbling dice. Mess it up. Can't always get what you want. Tell me straight. Little TNA. It's
She's
one of
a
my
Rainbows,
favorites.
Rolling Stones.
Yeah, you did.
Little TNA, one of my favorites.
That's a Keith song.
Rolling Stones is
obviously.
pretty good,
Yeah.
actually.
Sympathy for the
Shut
Devil.
up.
Can't get no satisfaction. Okay.
It was.
Yeah.
It was a hell of a show, man.
Yeah.
It was a hell of a show. I had a great time. Is it worth the over $1,000 that I spent?
Right.
We could debate that, but
Right.
I wanted to see. I've never seen the Rolling Stones, and they
Okay.
were one of the very few that were left
Okay.
on my list. So I went and saw the Rolling Stones last night.
So they
and
play in Cleveland.
Yeah,
They're playing every third night, it looks like.
that's
Fourth
what it
night.
looked like.
Yeah, 4 nights. Okay.
I think they did 2 nights in New York. Like it's not a very long tour. They're 80.
And they're changing up the set list.
They are. They're playing like
I
4.
mean, start me up.
Yeah,
start me
they
up-
have like a shell of a set list, and then like 3 or 4
right.
songs in there that they flip out every night. And,
Right,
Like Monkey,
okay.
they didn't do. They think Monkey Man was the first time they did it on the tour this year.
Okay.
Like
So in Atlanta 3 nights ago, they did Let's Spend the Night Together. They did Sweet Virginia.
so yeah, that's been a thing where
Okay.
like one song they like the
Oh, Emotional Rescue. I love that song.
yeah, it's a great song, isn't it? Jesus.
Okay.
They let you pick. They give you an option of 4 songs, and you can vote on which one they play in that spot on the set
Oh,
each
cool.
night. So last night it was She's a Rainbow.
But they're
which is,
always, Start Me Up is always.
yeah, it's always Start Me Up. It's
Okay.
always Satisfaction at the end. Like and they always
Time's
do
on my side.
a little Keith
Okay.
set in there. It was great. It was tremendous.
Beast of Burden. Okay, yeah,
Tremendous.
nice.
It was a really,
Good for
really
you.
great night.
Yeah, I got sunburned, so I went to the
You got
U.S.
to,
Open.
you got
and
to
got-
hang out with Danny McCarthy.
It was
the-
fun.
The U.S. Open winner. You got
We
to
had-
hang out with them.
That'd be nice. I tell you, you look great, man. Tiger looked great. I am
Okay, but it's not Tiger. Let's be fair about
no,
this.
but
Like,
here's what I would say.
the
I
the
wrote-
artist
No,
formerly known.
right. But here's what I would say about him as it relates to this week. Everything he needed at the PGA Championship, he didn't get.
Okay,
The weather wasn't great.
right.
It was cold for May. He got the late, early tee time draw. Very difficult walk. He got all of that thrown at him up there in Kentucky, and he
the
flatlined.
cops arrested him and threw him in jail
Right,
one
right.
morning. It was just,
right, and he flatlined. Right, everything that he needs to play well now at 48 years old, with all of the trauma that has gone through his body, everything he needs to play well, he has this week. He needs it to be hot.
okay.
Just to help his body, right? Needs it to be hot. Got it. Needs a flat golf course to be able to walk easily. Got it. This place is very flat.
Flatter than that girl that you dated in high school. Hey-o! Bam!
Come on, man. I mean, that's so lame.
Yeah, right.
Get some new material.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. And got the late tee time draw. So he plays tomorrow at 7:30 and doesn't play on Friday until 1:15.
I like his chances.
Yeah,
I think
well-
I think he'll be right at the cut line.
Here's
Right
what I would
at the-
say. At 250 to 1,
I saw that
that's
you threw a little.
kind of hard to pass up.
But in fairness, you were looking for a reason. Drew,
No,
somebody
I haven't bet on
somebody-
Tiger in
days,
years.
right.
No, I haven't bet on Tiger in
come
years. I haven't.
Come on, I know.
And I don't think he's going to win this week. I would just say that everything that he needs to be competitive is lining up for him. And he looked great. I mean, his golf swing looked awesome. So we'll see.
All right, we'll see.
Scheffler's going to win.
Was this the first time Ethan had gone to Pinehurst?
He loved it.
So he's all in on golf.
Yeah, he is
'Cause is he
really
still
close
swimming?
now.
Is he
Yeah, he
still-
swims tonight, actually, or swimming
Okay.
tonight. He's really close now to wanting to go steady with golf.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
He's been dating it for a while.
But does he like golf or girls more?
No, that's a coin flip.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
But he is now close to wanting to go steady with golf.
All right.
And that helped him yesterday, too, a little bit. Just seeing, he loves Minwoo Lee. He got to see these guys.
It's a random favorite.
I know he
golfer.
loves Minwoo Lee.
It's-
All the kids love Minwoo Lee because he's an
yeah?
internet star.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I had no idea.
He does all kinds of internet. If you
I
get
saw. I don't remember the story, but one of the golf reporters was like walking with DeChambeau yesterday.
Johnson Wagner.
and tweeted out like, I was walking with DeChambeau today, and I heard the following from a kid that was getting his autograph. I love your content. Not like you're a great golfer. Not
so Minwoo Lee is one of those guys that if you and your 3 buddies get through to him on his social media and say, hey, we live in, I'll make it up because they're in Pinehurst, we live in Cary, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Would you come over on Monday and play us in a match?
Okay.
9-hole match? Minwoo Lee will say, sure.
Right.
What time do you want to be there?
Cool. That's cool.
Bring your video cameras and I'll play you.
I can dig that.
Yeah.
I can dig that.
Yeah. So anyway, it was a good time.
So yeah, you had a day, and now who's your pick? Oh, you said your Scheffler's.
Well, I think Scheffler's going to win.
Right?
Duh.
Right.
Failing that, I really like. I think Schauffele has a great chance. He's
just gonna pick all the guys that won all
he's
the majors.
right. He's played all of the.
Really going out on a limb.
He's played all the majors well the last 2 or 3
years.
years.
I think the Masters winner will win. If not, then I think the PGA winner will win.
Here are my 2 long shots: Tom Hoge and Akshay Bhatia would be the 2 other guys.
There's no way Tom Hoagie's really a. That's a guy I went to college with.
It's Hoge.
Like we would get drunk, and then he would be like, "Let's go down and get some hoagies."
Right.
He was a guy
Tom Hoge.
He was a guy from South Philly.
I love Tom Hoge. I think he's got a great chance, and I really think Bhatia's got a great chance.
All right.
Those would be my 2 sort of off the radar screen guys. Their stats are great.
Griffin's going right now to figure out how to throw some money at him.
They're both. The golf course is going to wind up being the story. Trust me.
Well, I mean,
the place is out of control. It's
so what's the winner going to shoot? Even par?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did Payne shoot when he won?
1 under.
That's what I thought. Right.
Michael Campbell was
4.
5.
I thought it was
4 or 5, and then Keimer was 9. But everyone else was even par or worse.
Right.
This place, if they don't get any rain, which
Keimer,
according to the forecast,
reached his athletic opus.
He did. If they don't get any rain, which they apparently aren't, it's going to be a S show. It's going to be crazy. The golf course is going to wind up being the story.
There you go. Right. Let's go course. Here we go. Let's go course. They're
going to have to put some water on it.
Let's go.
Or they're going to lose it. It's going to be funny. Because guys are already complaining about it, and it's just Tuesday.
Well, but aren't the greens there always impossible to?
Yes, that's the problem.
Right.
They're rolling.
But
now.
Isn't that the point?
Yeah, but not quite like they got it now because you can't hold the greens. The greens are the third.
Yes, I thought the point was that you literally had to make a perfect putt, or else you were going to end up.
It's not that. It's
it was
getting
like a miniature golf course.
It's not that. It's getting it on the green.
All right.
That's tough.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Once you're on the green, it can be difficult depending on where you are. But getting it onto the green and getting it to stay there is the question.
Okay. Well,
enjoy.
Have a fun time.
It's not going to be good.
Enjoy your weekend.
That'll be the controversy. Will be the golf course.
What we were discussing was the roster move yesterday. The Orioles bringing back Jorge Mateo
and Brian Baker.
Well, they just needed somebody.
Well, I'm available.
Yeah, but
I mean, Brian Baker or me is the same thing.
It's close.
It is close.
It's close. I'll give him the slight edge,
but not by much.
But if it was him versus Steve Johnson, then
but not by much.
I'm not gonna say the same.
I saw that last night. I said it can't be the same guy.
Right. No, it's the Brian Baker. Yes, that's the one.
When they brought him back and then shipped out what's his name last year?
Right.
Fuji. Fuji never been heard from again.
Yeah.
Fuji said,
"Yeah, that's the end of it." Right. If I'm not good enough to beat out Brian
Baker is beating me out, I gotta go.
Forget it. No, they needed somebody that was on the 40-man roster. That's the thing that people are up in arms about. Like they couldn't just call up, Trace Bright, somebody like that, because it had to be somebody that was on the 40-man roster, and else you're going to have to make a roster move. Now, I get what you're going to say is you can just let Brian Baker go from the 40-man roster. I understand. I understand your opinion about the subject, but they put somebody on the team for now, at least, that's on the 40-man roster. I guess we'll see when Dean Kramer may come back, but that's not the move. Danny Coulomb was hurt. They had to put somebody on. They had to put a pitcher on the roster.
Is he really hurt, or is he stepping a pothole?
No, he's definitely not stepping a pothole. Danny Coulomb's been
great.
Awesome. Yeah, he's been awesome. There's no world in which they're just forcing Danny Coulomb onto the IL.
Right. No, he's been awesome. I just thought they might have been doing one of those, hey, every 3 weeks, one of you guys has got to take a seat for a week. That's all.
No, they might do that with starters because they want to manage the innings, but not not with Danny Coulomb. He's
been great.
Phenomenal, man.
No doubt.
He's been brilliant.
Almost all of them have been, really, except for Kimbrel.
No, Dylan Tate has not been.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Yeah,
he
Dylan
stinks.
Tate definitely hasn't been.
Terrible.
I mean, he's had moments where you're like, oh, man, that's that guy. Like,
Perez has been good. Aiken's been
Perez
great.
Aiken's been he started off great. And then it's been a little hit and miss since then. Like, it's been a little
Well, what do you want from
shaky.
a relief pitcher?
I hear you. That's what you get, but that's why you might need to go get a couple of them before the
Well, we
deadline.
did. We got one from the Brewers.
That's right. Thank you. They did.
Or let that guy go already.
Wait, did you realize that Ramirez was pitching for the Dodgers?
Yeah, and then he
Gave up the home
immediately-
run on Sunday night?
Yes,
That guy's still screwing us.
Which
Still.
guy?
The guy they acquired
from the Mets.
from the Mets, Ramirez, Johan Ramirez.
Okay.
The guy that
who
came
was
in and like
on the
he
team
hit
for-
like 4 guys and walked 4 guys.
Yeah,
or
was on the
whatever it
team for
was.
3 days or whatever it was
Okay.
before You're thinking of Vieira.
Yeah, I'm
right?
thinking of the Brewers
guy
guy.
before that was Johan Ramirez, who was
Okay.
on the team for a couple of weeks. He somehow ended up with the Dodgers,
Okay. Which
Who
is
are-
bizarre because they're good.
who are good.
Well, the Orioles are good too. So
I hear you.
Everybody thinks they can. I don't know what I don't know what it is.
I have no idea
'Cause
what it
these
is
teams
about this
think
guy.
They can
So
fix
he
these guys.
ends up with the Dodgers. They're going for the sweep of the Yankees on Sunday night.
And he blows
Tie
up.
game, and they put in this effing Johan Ramirez guy,
Right.
who all he does is proceed to give up a home run to Aaron Judge to ruin it. This
Right.
guy's still screwing us.
Judge hit a ball last night
Still.
that landed in St. Louis.
Well, my God.
Did you see the ball
Remember,
he hit last
remember
night?
the 3 weeks at the beginning of the season when Aaron Judge wasn't Aaron
Yeah,
Judge,
he
and
was
we were
hitting
all
like
like,
130.
oh, man,
Yeah, he's got
maybe.
25 home runs.
It's unbelievable.
He
It's
hit a ball last
unbelievable.
night. It was so far, it was insane.
Um,
So did Stanton.
So, yes, we were talking about Connor Norby. The Orioles deciding that was the move to make to get Jorge Mateo
Was this
back
his
on
first
the
time ever
roster.
coming up?
Yes.
Okay, so he's got 3 options left.
That's not
Yeah,
the
right,
issue.
but I mean-
the issue, of course, being that, like, I don't know that Ramon Arias ultimately is someone that can really help you win a World Series at this point. He's had a heck of a week, right? Like, he's had a really good 10 days. But for a year and a half leading up to those 10 days, he's been meh, and particularly meh.
All right.
Cedric Mullins, obviously, there's something going on there, and you still
Yeah,
have
lack of talent.
well, it's definitely not that. You definitely have an option with Cedric Mullins.
Yeah, got 1 left, right?
No, actually, he's got 2 left.
Does he really?
But he would probably get too much service time for them to be able to do it again next year.
Okay.
Like this, that's not, I guess, depending on how long he would stay down this year, he might not get his 5th year. God, that guy. Like, and they clearly don't want to do it. They clearly don't. They don't want to do
Or they
that
would've.
to it, or they would have done it.
Right.
But it's a difficult conversation to have because I get the argument. I understand the argument is you bring these guys up and then you don't give them the prolonged opportunity to adjust to major league pitching. You expect them to light the world on fire on day one. They're not.
Well, they
ready
all come up and do the same thing. The Locklear kid did it the other day. They all come up, and in their first game or two, because the pitchers have no idea what they're all about, the pitchers just say, I'll throw a fastball right by you,
And
and
then-
they can all hit fastballs.
correct.
It's not until every kid comes up and gets a hit in their first game or a home run.
Except for Jackson Holiday.
But right, yeah. But they all come up and do the same thing. It's what happens after their 5th game.
right, when pitchers they
reality
start
sets in.
to have here's what this guy chases, here's what we
Right.
can throw to get him out. We're major leaguers, he's not.
Right.
We can go do this.
Right.
But they don't. You don't. That's why it takes typically. Gunnar Henderson stunk for the better part of 2 months last year, but the Orioles let him ride it out.
Right, sure.
And once he figured it out, my God, did he figure it out? And I'm not
He's
suggesting
okay. They didn't need him last night.
It'll be all right. I'm not suggesting that Connor Norby is going to be Gunnar Henderson. I'm not saying that Heston Kjerstad would have been Gunnar Henderson that wrote it out. But it is a complaint that Orioles fans have about the decision-making process right now, that you're bringing these guys up, either not giving them regular playing time when you bring them up, or sending them right back down and not allowing them to play consistently and adjust to major league pitching. And I understand the complaint. I get it. I just think it's complicated by the fact that the team's trying to win. And these are not easy decisions. If they were easy decisions, then I'd beat them up over not making the right one. These are very difficult decisions. I don't think Ramon
Why do
Arias,
you think the Mullins decision's difficult?
because you don't.
Because of his stature within the team?
It's a little bit because of his stature within the team. It's also because at the core, he's still, obviously, as we talked about a week ago, a extraordinarily high-level defensive player. And your belief is that if you can ride it out, whatever this is, and just get back to the guy that you saw just a year ago at this time, he would be incredibly helpful. Not just helpful, but incredibly helpful. And so you don't want to just do something that might piss that guy off and might make things uncomfortable. He's a 30-year-old. Like, this is not It's a big difference between treating optioning a 30-year-old to AAA that's been, a team MVP caliber player for you in recent years. It's a very difficult thing. You don't see teams just do that. Now, you don't normally have 30-year-olds that have options left either, right? Like, it's a very unique situation that they're in with Cedric Mullins.
Why wouldn't you just package him up with somebody and get something for him? Because you can't?
I guess you would have to tell me what that would be. Who's looking for...
I don't know.
Like, who's... You
don't think he has any value?
I think he would have value, but it's a unique type of value. Like, I think that he would have value to a team that
doesn't care if he hits 150?
No, that would say specifically, we're bad this year, but we think next year we could be good. And I don't know how many teams there are. Like, I don't think the Astros are ready to say that yet. Like, Astros would be an ideal team to look at for something like this, right? Like, if you got to the deadline and they decided, all right, we're not doing it this year, but they're certainly not planning on being bad for 5 years. They think they're going to be right back in it next year.
Right.
Then the Astros would be the type of team that would say, hey, he's got another year left on his deal. Let's bring him in here, let him get adjusted the end of this season, and then we think we might have something next year. It's sort of the Jorge Mateo thing, right? Like, the Orioles acquired Jorge Mateo, and late in the year he kind of got adjusted, and then the next year he was helpful. Now Cedric Mullins has been a better player than Jorge Mateo was at that point in his career, but it's the concept. Like, bring him in. It's kind of a reclamation thing, but we can work on the reclamation in a year that doesn't matter to us and then expect by next year perhaps he's going to be really helpful for us. Maybe the Mets would be the team that could view him that way. Like, maybe they think they're a team that is bad this year but could be good next year. It's just there's such a disaster. It's hard to imagine, like, what that looks like. His answer will probably just be spend more money, but I don't know. It's hard for me to fathom the Mets being good by next year because they're just such a cluster F.
Right.
You're just looking for a very unique situation for a team that would have interest in Cedric Mullins.
Okay.
It's a very...
Go find him.
I think that would be at the deadline.
Okay.
Like, that again, you have to give teams time to know definitively we're not going to do it this year.
Well, Miami's not going to do it this year.
Probably not, but I don't think they're going to do it next year either.
White Sox.
Yeah, they're probably not going to do it next year either.
Did you see how they lost the other night?
Which one?
Yeah. They were up 4-0 in Seattle, and Cal Raleigh hit the grand slam.
I did. Yes, I did.
They were cruising. They were up 4-0. The under was going to hit.
Yeah. Why would you know?
They were going to win 1.5.
Like, if the Royals went into some sort of like tailspin over the course of the next 4 weeks, but they looked at their core and they said, "There's a reason we got off to a great start. Like, we know there's something."
Thanks a lot last night, Salvador Perez, scumbag.
We know there's something. What'd you have?
I had Judge and Stanton and Perez hitting home runs.
Unbelievable.
For a night, I could have paid for half of your Stones ticket.
No, yeah.
If Perez would hit a home run,
half of it, probably. Yeah, you just got to find that unique team, and I don't know who those teams are ultimately going to be. We can ask Jim Bowden about that when he joins us to see if there's a possibility there. But like, I wouldn't have been bothered if they had sent Cedric Mullins down. Like, I think that at some point you just got to do it. You got to say, we're trying to win a World Series here. We can't just keep riding this through and hoping that it's going to change at some point. We're 2.5 months into the season. We're past it's a small sample size, way past it.
I don't think he's done, but I think if we're playing horse, he has DON. I just don't see it happening with him.
I guess, but what do you mean by that? Like,
he's going to hit 200. He's a 210 hitter. You don't have any need for those people. It's a shame. It is what it is. I'll give you all.
Well, if plays center field and
no, but if you're telling me that's what he's going to be as a 210 hitter, then you're right. They don't need a 210 hitter, 100%. I don't know that everyone agrees with that. I think there are a lot of people that would say, yeah, it feels that way right now, but once he gets going, he could end up being a 250 hitter for you. And if he's a 250 hitter for you, it means that he was ridiculous for the rest of the season. I don't know if I believe that. I don't know. It's a tough spot. I get where they're coming from.
Bowden will be interesting to talk to about it because he mentioned that the Giants are looking for a center field option for the rest of this season since Jung-Ho Lee is out for the year.
Okay.
So and he had mentioned they were considering moving Doval just because which didn't make much sense.
That doesn't make any sense.
But if it was to help them net some large prospect package and something to help their current team, then
it's very, very, very odd. I don't know what to make of any of that.
I know I'm on the other end of it, right? Like, I've definitely soured on him. You can't hit 215 or 210 or 205 or 180.
I agree with that part of it.
Can't.
It's just that figuring out whether that's actually who he is or if he's just a guy that's going through a miserable 2.5 months, which a lot of baseball players will go through at some point in their career. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know the answer to that question. You might very well be right that, like, it's just he outperformed what he is actually capable of for a couple of years. This is who he is now. Is that possible?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, very much so.
Or is it possible that he's going through a miserable – he never really recovered from the injuries a year ago. He never had a normal offseason. It's just something that's not right that he hasn't been able to work out. And at some point there is going to be a moment where it all clicks. I don't know. And I'm sure that's the exact same thing the Orioles are feeling right now.
Well, I know.
Do you? You got it all figured out?
I
Got
do.
it all figured out. All right, today's show is brought to you by Sports and Social, which is always the best place to watch every big event. And this Saturday, Baltimore's own Gervonta Davis is back in action, taking on Frank Martin, and you can watch the fight for free.
Basketball coach?
Yeah, exactly right. Former South Carolina
He's
coach
fighting people?
now has gotten.
He always
into
was
boxing.
angry.
He wasn't angry. You're right about that. You can watch the fight for free at Sports and Social inside Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Go to the website in order to reserve your table. Go to the FanDuel Sportsbook, and you can reserve your blue reclining seat. Awesome giant media wall. Incredible food and drink. And just an atmosphere that's unparalleled. Whenever you watch an event inside Sports and Social, everybody's living and dying. They're all invested. You can spend a boatload of money to order the pay-per-view at home if that's what you want to do. Or you can take that money and go try to win with it when you play at Sports and Social and watch the fight this Saturday night. Real quick, one note, sad news in the world of basketball. Jerry West has passed away at the age of 86.
Oh, wow.
Obviously an absolute icon. The logo, Jerry West, who had not only, a Hall of Fame playing career, but a Hall of Fame front office career as well. We talk about Ozzie Newsome being somebody that would be like worthy of being a two-time Hall of Famer. Jerry West would 100% be in that category for what he did as a player and, of course, as a general manager and an executive. So sad news, but an incredible life. Jerry West passes away at the age of 86. We're going to talk some more baseball this morning. Chayce McDermott, now with Cade Povich at the Bigs, probably the top pitching prospect in the Orioles system. We'll check in with us next. Drew's here. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Discover one of Baltimore's hidden gems at Guilford Hall Brewery. Enjoy dinner in our spacious brew pub, sip a signature cocktail in our outdoor, dog-friendly beer garden, or take a tour of our brewery. Discover your new favorite local craft beer. From crisp lagers to hoppy ales, there's something for everyone to enjoy. Pair your brew with delicious appetizers and entrees. There are options for the whole family, but you have to try our fan-favorite giant pretzel. Guilford Hall Brewery, where every sip is a celebration. Visit us online at guilfordhall.com.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
The drug scene in Maryland is changing. Fentanyl and xylazine are being added to street drugs, and you may not even know it. Xylazine is not even intended for humans, and fentanyl is an opioid 50 times stronger than heroin, and contributed to over 80% of overdose deaths in our state. Anyone who uses drugs, even occasionally, is at risk of overdose. To learn more, visit stopoverdose.maryland.gov or call or text 988.
The votes were all counted, and the results are official. Royal Farms was named #1 for food in the USA Today 10 Best poll, receiving more votes than any other convenience store chain in America. The next time you want to get some good food fast, doesn't it make sense to go to Royal Farms? Voted best in the USA and home of world-famous chicken. Real fresh, real fast, Royal Farms.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Luke Jackson profiles Grayson Rodriguez, talking to people who have been part of his path as the Orioles hope he'll become their next homegrown ace. Also inside, we remember legendary Maryland basketball coach Lefty Driesell with stories from legends like Roy Williams and Bobby Cremins about what it was like to go up against the old left-hander. Press Box is available at over 500 locations around Baltimore, including 60 Royal Farm stores. You can also find the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
One of the things that's definitely wrong with this country is that this dude still has a job somehow, some way. Glenn Clark.
All right, back in here on GCR. It's a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of the program. Would You Rather Wednesday scenarios are up at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter, Facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio. We will get into those a little bit later on. Drew Forrester, Drew'sMorningDish.com, is in studio with us, and it is time for us to make a trip to Norfolk to chat with a member of the Tides. And this guy, I guess technically you got to make a certain number of appearances before you graduate from prospects, but with Cade Povich being up at the bigs, this guy probably now the top pitching prospect in the Orioles system, and he has been getting the job done this season, pitching to a 3.57 ERA, coming off 8 strikeouts his last time out. He is Chayce McDermott, and he's with us here on GCR. Chayce, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's great to catch up. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely, man. Chayce, can you kind of take me through? I know you've been through a lot since you arrived in the system, but this year, kind of knowing how real it's all been at the AAA level, how close you are, how good have you felt about the work that you've done this season? And being the guy that you want to be as you're on the cusp of reaching major leagues.
Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling good with what I'm doing this year. Figured out some things as the season's gone on. I feel like I'm in a really good position, putting myself in a position to hopefully help the big league team down the stretch if needed. So,
you a year ago, started at AA. You got up to AAA, and it's supposed to get more difficult, right? Like, it's supposed to be that you're facing, legitimate major league hitters, and it's not supposed to be easy. But it's almost like the numbers for you got better the moment that you arrived at AAA. Can you put your finger on why the adjustment to the AAA level has been so seamless for you over the last year and a half?
Yeah, I think I'm just pitching to my strengths and using what I've kind of learned throughout my time in the system to put hitters away, and I think it's just kind of worked out that way that it makes it look easier. I don't think it actually is easier. I think I've just kind of honed in on some things, and it's worked out. So
I know you won't want to give any secrets away, but can anything specifically that you could tell us that, like, hey, I was able to harness maybe this pitch and use it as an out pitch, or anything in particular like that's really clicked for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing was just learning to attack hitters. In AA, you kind of get more free swingers. So sometimes you're able to kind of throw out of the zone and still get swing and misses. And then in AAA, you get less of those free swingers. So it's more just learning how to pitch in zone and use strike to ball pitches to get outs. So we kind of developed the cutter a little bit more. In the sense of using it as a swing and miss pitch and a strike pitch when needed. And then also the development of a splitter has been a huge help.
I'm very bummed out. I thought he was going to go back to the old Bull Durham scene when Nuke LaLoosh wore the garter and had the rose in the front.
Sure, right. Yeah.
Kevin Costner gave him the old rose goes in the front, big guy. But any goofy superstitions like that as you're now starting to, make your way up into the big leagues? You got anything you have to do on game day or anything to get ready?
Not specifically. I pretty much eat the same thing every start day, unless obviously like tomorrow I'll throw in a day game, so like I won't eat lunch.
Right.
But normally it's I always eat some sort of sub, a bag of chips, and a cookie before each start.
There you go. Lunch of champions.
Okay, now wait a second. Where did that start? And like, what made you say, "Hey, I've got to do it before every start"? And does it matter what the sub is and what the cookie is when you do this?
Yeah, so it started in pro ball. Just some of these cities you play in don't have a lot of options.
Fair.
So it's easier to get like a Subway or Jimmy John's or something like that. And then the sub is normally just some sort of like, I guess most places just call them subs technically, but they're turkey, ham, and roast beef or bacon or something. And then I keep it pretty simple with that. And then it's always got to be a chocolate chip cookie.
I mean, I don't think I'm going to argue with any of that.
Like I said, it's the lunch of champions,
right?
man.
That actually,
Yeah.
Hey, Chase, have you been able to see any of the College World Series?
Yeah, we've been watching it in the clubhouse, and I've been watching it kind of on my own a little bit too.
What's the one thing I watch it, and it's kind of amazing to me. I mean, it's a little bit to me. It's kind of like golf now. When I watch, I'm a golfer, and when I watch college golf, these kids are so incredibly talented. They could just walk right out on the PGA Tour and start competing. What's the one thing when I'm watching this College World Series? What's the one biggest difference between what they're doing now and at your level, even right now, at the AAA level where you're inching up to the big leagues? What's the one biggest difference? Is it just is there one thing, or is it just a series of, hey, I just got to get a little bit better in all of these categories?
I think it depends, kind of watching some of the pitchers specifically. Like, you got guys like Hagen Smith and Chase Burns that could probably go out and throw pretty well in a pro game at some level. You also have some guys, though, that you kind of watch, and it seems like they're, I don't want to say understanding of pitching, because I feel like a lot of these kids understand pitching really well. But I think the big thing you learn in pro ball is how to pitch. So it's like I'll watch games, and guy will throw 2 fastballs, and the second one gets fouled straight back, so he should go to an off-speed pitch. And he'll throw a fastball again, and it'll get hit 450 feet. And it's like, if you would have thrown a slider there or a curveball, you probably would have struck him out. So I think that's the biggest difference, is some of them learning how to use their pitches. I think for the hitters, the biggest difference is definitely the metal bat compared to wood bat.
No doubt.
Some of these guys are throwing their hands at balls and hitting them 420, and that just doesn't really, unless you're Ryan Mountcastle, that's not happening in the big league.
Right,
So.
right.
What do you make of the Connor Norby's brother pitched for East Carolina 2 rounds ago, and there was a lot made about the number of pitches, and I don't know what your usage was when you were at Ball State, but like there's a lot made about at the college level. Some guys are just they'll throw like 120 pitches and be asked to come back, particularly in the postseason, like 2 days later to go into a game. Does it concern you, like knowing where you are now? Do you like look at some of that and say like, oh, dude, somebody's got to get in that guy's ear and tell him you can't go back out there after you just pitched 2 days ago?
Yeah, there's definitely some things. I get college is a little bit different in the sense of you kind of got to win now or you're out. It's a little bit different than in pro ball where you play in the big leagues. You're playing 162 games, and throughout the minor leagues, you're playing at least probably 120. So it's a little bit different. But at the same time, I think it was West Virginia, and I'm not picking on him because this kid may have a rubber arm and feel great the whole time, but I think he threw like 140 pitches in a game the other day. And it's just kind of tough because they're probably going to run him back out there 4 days later if they need to. So it's been interesting. I wouldn't say there's a right way or a wrong way to do it, because some guys can throw 140 pitches and go out the next day and throw 30 more and feel perfectly fine. So it's kind of more of a player-by-player thing. So
I completely get it. He is Chayce McDermott, Norfolk Tides. He is with us here on GCR. Chase, you mentioned earlier, like, there's this, legitimate possibility. Do you start to feel the itch? Like, I'm not trying to age you. You're 25. You're not 30. But, like, do you start to feel that itch? Like, I'm there. I know I can do this. I know I can help. And how much do you is it difficult to continue to focus on, hey, I've just got to do what I can do, when you have that, like, but I want to be at the major league level right now?
No, I don't think it's hard. Kind of trying to just be where my feet are at this point. I'm enjoying where I'm at right now. I mean, obviously I would love to be in the big leagues, but if you would have told me when I was 16, 17 that I'd be in AAA at this point, I probably would have told you were nuts. So it's enjoying where I'm at and kind of just trusting the process. But I feel like I could really help the team if needed. But that's the thing right now. I mean, you look at the starters that we have, and I mean, I don't think very many people probably thought Albert Suarez was going to be throwing to I think he has like a 1.8 maybe.
It's
I think
unreal.
that may be downplaying it. I think it's like a 1.6, something like
one,
that.
1.6.
I don't think probably a ton. Yeah, I don't think a ton of people probably thought that was going to happen, but he's been great this year for us. So I mean, I'll be here when needed, but at the same time, I mean, the pitching staff's throwing really well, so I think it's hard to be like, hey, throw me in there right now and let me prove myself when it's already happening. You got Bradish, you got Grayson, Burns, Dean when he comes back, and then you got Suarez and Povich right now.
So two things that I wanted to get in with you. One being you brought up Povich. Did you text him afterwards? What did you think of the first big league start? And like, I feel like that while maybe the results weren't like great because he gave up the walks, you saw exactly how talented we've all known that Cade is in battling through in that game.
Yeah, I texted him, I think, like literally as soon as he came out. We were at the field and doing stuff, so I had to make sure I text him real quick. But I thought he threw better than the stats.
Yeah.
Better than it looked on paper. I thought he threw the ball really well. I thought everything looked great. The 2 walks and then the home run kind of stink, but I think that's kind of more just learning as you go. But I think everything looked great. And then he gave up the 2 bloop singles that, or I guess I think they were both doubles, or one was a double, one was the same, whatever it was. But those just more stink than anything. Those shouldn't even score. So it's kind of one of those tough situations, but I thought he threw really well.
So then the other one, I think when people look at your numbers, they're going to say, hey, everything looks great except a 1.5 whip. Like, what's going on? And I know that sometimes that can be deceiving, or there can be one outing that, like, is that something that you would say, hey, I still do want to make sure I'm not putting as many guys on base? Are you dismissive of that? Hey, I've got the job done. I'm not giving up runs. What should we know about the fact that you're sitting on a 1.5 whip at this point?
No, yeah, I think it's a combination of both. I think if you look at it at the stats, it was, I think at the beginning of the year in like 21 innings or something, I had walked 23 or 25 hitters. I think at the beginning of the year, I was so caught up in command and everything that it was making it worse. I think over the past like 40 innings or something, I've walked like 11, 14 people, somewhere in that range. It's getting a lot better.
Yeah.
Stopped worrying about walking people and just going out and attacking hitters, and it's really worked out. So kind of at the same time, the whip is higher than I would like it to be, but if you take it over the last 40 innings, I think it's actually around a 1 or maybe below a 1 or something like that. So it's tough, but at the same time, I don't think it's that much of a concern in the sense of it's gotten a lot better in the last month and a half.
The Norfolk Tides are home this week, so if you're headed down that way, it's a great opportunity to check out the Tides, including some great events this weekend. Fireworks on Saturday night, Marine Corps night, Father's Day catch on the field on Sunday. Absolutely worth it. And, Chayce, you're pitching tomorrow, correct?
Yeah.
So a 12 o'clock game. Take the day off work and just go down and check out the Tides, right? Like, go make that happen. Chayce, remind me, Twitter, Instagram, anywhere like that, where can Orioles fans be giving you a follow?
Instagram. My Instagram is @Chayce McD. That's pretty much the only social media I use at this point.
Good for you. Good for you, man. I'm jealous. I got to get off Twitter. I got to get off. It's such a cesspool,
exactly.
dude. It's such a cesspool, man. I can't. It's awful. Hey, Chayce, congratulations on the awesome season that you're having. We can't wait for the next conversation we have with you to be up here in Baltimore, man. Congratulations, and thank you for taking the time for us.
And the rose goes in the front. Don't forget that.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, game day sub on us for like the second start.
That.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
Sounds good. I appreciate it.
Chayce McDermott with us here on GCR. Appreciate it.
By the way, that's accurate.
What?
The rose goes in the front.
Thank you. You're right about that. That is true. The rose does go in the front.
How do you think I made the U.S. Senior Open?
Is that? You were wearing a...
All these years, you never knew. Everyone said, how'd you make it?
I thought it was the golden thong that you pulled out. For
everyone said, how'd you make it?
Open.
And
was that why you
didn't make it this year? Bag. Yeah, I've stopped wearing it. I'm trying to get by on my own natural ability.
We had... I went to my first gay wedding a couple weekends ago. 2 friends of mine that...
Excuse me?
What?
You went what?
I went to my first gay wedding. 2 buddies of mine that got married, and I was very happy for them. And we made a joke though. We were in the reception. We
Be
were
careful.
We were like, so who's wearing the garter? Like how we doing this
Right,
exactly?
right.
Like how do we?
Right.
What's what's the plan?
And
here?
who's reaching up whose leg?
Right, exactly.
'Cause I think I'm going to pass on that
Well,
one.
I mean, if I gotta,
Right.
we'll do what we gotta do.
Right.
It turns out neither one of them. They weren't doing the garter.
Okay.
It was a non-traditional wedding. Is the way I said. Well, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if that's the case at all. I don't know whatsoever. Have you been watching the hockey?
I have. Florida is so good. It's insane.
Nuts, right? It's nuts. I was talking about
I'm
this.
not a historian, and I have followed it a little less and less after the Cap. When the Caps had never won it, I was embedded in it. Then when they won it, I'm like, okay, we got that out of the way. Now what? This might be the best team I've seen in the NHL in a long time. They are so freaking good.
Wow.
It's insane how good they are. And I realized, or I didn't realize until they played the Rangers how good they were, because the Rangers were really good.
Right, they were. They were.
This Florida team is something else, man.
Well,
and Edmonton is not chopped liver.
No, not at all. And I think it does start with, like, you have to have outstanding goalie play. And
Right.
obviously, Bobrovsky's been.
And he's the funniest part about him is I don't want to say he's in like the November of his career. He's still a very good goalie. He's playing out of his mind right now, but he hasn't been Ken Dryden the last couple of years. He's just a good goalie. He's just a very good. I mean, he's bounced around. But he is very good, and he is playing up, as they say, in this series for sure.
So I wasn't watching as much in the first couple of rounds because I was watching, baseball and basketball and things, and then, now
they clobbered Tampa.
Right, and I've watched more, and sometimes I'll forget. Like, they have Tarasenko too. I'll be like,
Right.
wait, I utterly forgot.
And Kachuk.
That's what it was. Kachuk is nuts. Right.
Who'd they beat? They beat Tampa 4 straight.
Right. Oh, and then who they beat before New York?
Then who did they beat?
That
wasn't Carolina. Was it Carolina?
Yeah,
They
it
beat
sounds
Carolina?
right. That sounds
it was
right.
Carolina. I think so.
And then they beat the Rangers, and now they're going to
beat
win.
Carolina.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so they're going to. This isn't over yet.
Yeah, that's to the point. Like
It's not over yet.
It's the
Edmonton
old.
could win the next 2.
Right,
And
you got to win a game on the road.
2-1 in
and
overtime,
yeah,
and then
But they're not even like I said this to Griffin the other night. Watching, they had a 6-on-4 in the third period the other night.
So it was the Lightning, then Boston, then the Rangers.
Oh, Boston they beat.
So when
They beat Boston. He's right.
Oh, okay. I just searched
Boston
Panthers
in the second
Hurricanes. All right.
They beat them in 6 because they beat them in Boston, right? In Game 6,
Correct.
right? They lost. They had a chance to beat them.
Correct. Yeah,
They had a chance to clinch it in
Right.
Florida, and they lost 2-1. Then they went to Boston and won.
So they had the
I know
6-on-4.
sports.
They had the 6-on-4, and I look over and I'm like, it doesn't even look like they're on a power play.
Right.
It looks even strength, and
Right.
that's the part to me that's nuts about what Florida's doing. Is it's like what I would say the Celtics are doing defensively against the Mavericks. Like they're selling out. Like they are making life miserable for everyone they play. It's
I'm not
crazy.
sure Dallas.
What?
I don't know. Dallas just seems to me they won their Super Bowl, and they're just kind of. I don't want to say they've given
I
up
don't
yet.
agree with that.
I don't know.
They looked a lot better in Game 2. I mean, like if the officials,
Game 1,
are,
not so much.
no, they look terrible in Game 1. But if the officials are willing to call the foul that was obviously committed in the final minute of the game,
Yeah, they were
in
down
Game
by
2,
4.
They were down by 5.
All right.
They would have been back within 3 with 30 seconds to play.
Right.
Like I'm not saying they would have won the game, but they would have
What
been
about the
in
big
it.
news from yesterday?
What big news from yesterday?
The big
God,
news.
I never know where you're about to go with this.
Joey.
Oh, right. We haven't talked about it. Well, I want to save that because it comes up in Would You Rather Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
I do want to save that. Like that's why I didn't
Something
want to bring
about
it up yet.
wieners and.
Yeah. Lots of wiener
I know
talk
how you.
coming up.
I know how you
Would
are.
You Rather Wednesday. Lots of wiener talk.
That's a weird story, though.
It's a weird story.
'Cause
It's
are hot dogs and plant-based
Right.
hot dogs really competitors?
you wouldn't
Like,
think so.
really?
It definitely is not a good look for the people involved with the.
If you're prone to or interested in or
yeah.
have a taste for plant-based food,
I don't think that you are choosing Nathan's hot dogs instead.
Correct.
I don't think that there's ever going to be a
I
time.
will say this: I am not a plant-based guy. I am
No?
not.
No.
I did recently have some plant-based sausage.
Okay.
That was outstanding.
I had.
Now, I don't know what's in it. It worries me that it tasted that good, but it was good.
I don't think it was an impossible. I think I had a Beyond. So Mike Loxley hosts a barbecue at his house every year, and one year, like the first year he did it, they had also Beyond Burgers, and I was like, well, I've never had one of these things. Like, let me see what it. And it definitely does not taste like. You're not going to confuse yourself into thinking, oh, that's just like a burger. No, it's not.
It's not terrible.
But that's exactly the way that I would describe
It's
it.
like the Spam Oreo
It's
thing.
something you could eat. You just never going to. It's part of the problem that I have. I don't need it to be a fake burger. You can just say,
make it tasty.
Yeah, it's this other thing.
Just make it good.
Spam
and Oreo cookies and mayonnaise.
It's bizarre. I'll never understand.
I didn't eat the mayonnaise.
Never understand.
I put my foot down there.
Right. That was when it got weird. Was when Drew said, "I'm good with everything right up until the mayonnaise. I'll pass on that." We're going to chat with Jim Bowden in just a second. Today's show brought to you by County Sports Zone and your local Toyota dealers. Of course, high school sports season is over, but for the latest in coaching changes, news at the high school sports scene, as well as previews as we move towards football season in the fall, you're going to want to check out countysports.zone. That's countysports.zone, which is proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com for all of the latest when it comes to high school football or other high school news, commitments, things along those lines that pop up. You can find all of them right there at countysports.zone. Again, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. We are into the 11 a.m. hour of the program. Drew Forrester is here. You on Sunday for the final round of the U.S. Open?
4 to 6. 4 to 6, talking golf on Sunday, and then back next Wednesday, getting double time because of Juneteenth.
Right. You're doing the 12 to 3 shift.
I have no idea why.
You're doing because it's a federal holiday. That's the reason.
No, I have no idea why I'm doing it.
Oh, you're doing it.
Yeah, right.
No,
I know why we're doing it.
First of all,
I have
somebody
no
said,
idea why.
we need somebody to be on the air on Juneteenth. And Drew said, well, if there's a man that can convey the power of the moment,
it's me.
The significance of the date, I believe it's me. I can be the one.
I did have to look up the whole thing.
Don't say that. Don't. But yes.
But I'm in.
Sunday,
and talking golf, 4 to 6.
Sunday for the final. You will be on during the closing moments of the final round.
During the final moments of the Scotty Scheffler Invitational.
You'll be reacting live to the final round of the U.S. Open on 105.7 The Fan. Right now, we're going to talk some baseball, and let's try to figure out what the Orioles might be able to do at the trade deadline. Our next guest, of course, you hear him on Sirius XM.
They shouldn't do anything.
Well, they're good.
They're 44 and 22.
I understand that, but they want to win a World Series, Drew. You hear him on
right.
Sirius XM, you see him on CBS Sports, and you read him in The Athletic. He is former MLB GM and our friend, Mr. Jim Bowden, and he's back with us now here on GCR. Jim, it's Glenn. Drew Forrester is here with me. Always appreciate you taking the time for us.
Glenn and Drew, great to be back with you. And, we have 4 elite teams in baseball, right? We got the Yankees, the Orioles, we've got the Phillies, and the Dodgers. They're the 4 best teams in the game right now. They've kind of separated themselves. Guardians and Royals, Brewers aren't far behind, but still, those are the 4 teams. And look, I think the important thing at the trade deadline is make the moves for October. You're going to get there, but you want to make sure when you get there, you have the best possible team to run the table.
So this is the weird spot. 2 weeks ago, Jim, if you would have asked me, hey, what do you think the Orioles need to do? Obviously, we would have all talked about the bullpen. Maybe we would have mentioned a right-handed bat, although I don't know that it's a panic. Like, it's just could you add one? Sure. I feel like what you just said, we were reminded of that with the news of John Means, being out for the year, Tyler Wells, who was probably going to be in the bullpen, but could have been an option in the rotation. The Orioles have plenty of arms for the rotation. Dean Kramer is still slated to come back, but guys get hurt after July 30th. That happens. And Kyle Bradish, it's a roller coaster for us right now because we're terrified that Kyle Bradish's arm is about to fall off, but all he's doing is going out and looking like Greg Maddux every time he pitches. I think that I have come around to they need to be in the starting pitching market. They need to try to add one more before the deadline. I guess, A, do you agree with that? And then, B, who is viable for that to be in play for the Orioles if you do?
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't agree with you on that. I think the Orioles starting pitching is good enough and deep enough, and you've got the big 3 in the front with Corbin Burns and Bradish and Rodriguez. And, Irvin's pitched really well. Albert Suarez has pitched really well. So, you got some depth there. obviously you always want to add more. Look, if you can swing a trade and get a Jesus Luzardo, sure, that kind of makes sense. If you want to go try to get Garrett Crochet from the White Sox, that makes sense. I'm not sure how many innings Crochet is going to be effective, though.
Right.
Right? And then Luzardo's been up and down. Like it's not a sure thing that he's better than what you have. And those are probably the two best starters that are going to get moved.
Can I ask
about,
what about Eric Fetty? Because I look, part of this is we're dealing with who are the teams that we know are going to be sellers, right? And like the White Sox are obviously going to be a seller. And I don't know, I don't know how we've gotten here with Eric Fetty, where someone who was a cast-off has pitched as well as he has this season for a very bad baseball team. But given that he has another year after this year and would have the innings in him, and I'm interested in Crochet because he's great, but your point I think is very well taken about the innings problem you'd be dealing with. Fetty would have the innings. You got another year for him afterwards. Is that someone that would make sense for the Orioles to target?
I mean, it would make sense if you're not giving up too much to get him, and I think the White Sox will probably get too much from someone else.
Okay.
And for me, when I look at, all right, is Fetty going to start game 1, 2, or 3? Nope.
No.
Is he going to start game 4? I don't know. Maybe not. It depends how these other guys keep pitching, but I wouldn't say he's a clear upgrade. And that's why, my view is consistent with kind of how Mike Elias is looking at it, which is, look, I know how dominant the bullpen has been. The last 40 and 2/3 innings, that bullpen has been ridiculously great. But do you really believe it's going to stay that way through September and October? Do you really believe that Craig Kimbrell can keep this up when he hasn't been able to? Didn't do it for Boston, didn't do it for Philadelphia, you moved on from him. Like, I want him to keep doing it, and I want to believe the bullpen, but why not add another really good arm back there if you can? And I think that's what Mike is trying to do if the price is right. You can't get enough. Yeah, things are going to change a lot in a month, right? It just is. And, the other thing that's interesting is I don't look at it as a need, but the Orioles look at it. They want a right-hand hitting outfielder. And I'm not quite sure I understand the need. Maybe you guys can help me more than that. I love the outfield pool that you have, and I like the outfield pool in AAA. And I just kind of feel like if I'm doing anything, I'm just adding bullpen arms. And even though you don't need it right now, I get it. But I'm going to tell you, when we have this conversation in a month, you're going to want the Orioles to trade for a reliever. That's what I think.
I totally agree. I would say the one thing about the right-handed bat in the outfield, some of that could be predicated on and now last night he got 3 hits. Some of that could be predicated on the fact that Hayes has had such a bad start to 2024. But if they could get him into the 250, 260 range, that might suffice, right? Instead of having to go out and find somebody. But I agree with you, Jim. They need another arm. I'm not a Craig Kimbrell hater. I don't want to use that word, but I do not want to see him closing against, insert team here in October. I do not want to see that. I would say, obviously, Batista is projected to be back next year, so maybe you don't want to make a wild investment on a closer in July, but I would go get somebody that you think can close the games and give Kimbrell some other role. But that would be me.
Yeah, or have the second option just in case Kimbrell doesn't do it, right? Like that's kind of how I look at it. And then if I can get an impact guy like Ryan Helsley from St. Louis, I'm just going to sleep at night so much better. I just am. And I have enough in the system to get Helsley. I do. And it's okay to overpay a little bit to have that closer that's one of the best in the game, that if you lead after 8, you win. I mean, because look at it this way. The Orioles are 3rd in baseball in runs scored, but only the Dodgers and Yankees have scored more, and the Dodgers have scored 6 more and the Yankees 5 more. That's absolutely nothing. So I don't see what an outfielder is going to do. Plus, I'm okay promoting what you have in AAA, and then pitching wise, you're third in baseball in ERA, right? Yankees, Phillies, and then the Orioles. So you're in a really good spot. What I don't like looking at though is the 12 blown saves. That's a reality right now, right? Yep. You got 12 blown saves. Yeah, you saved 21, but Clay Holmes and the Yankees have, they've converted 4 more than you have, and I don't want that differential. So that's where I want that's where I want it fixed, and so that's what I would kind of spend my time efforting. But I also agree with the fact that, look, if you do nothing you're going to be in the playoffs. And if you do nothing, you have a chance to win a World Series. That's how good this team is.
Jim Bowden is with us here on GCR. Jim, Helsley, obviously I think we'd all be interested in Helsley. What is – I'll make the comparison. We all read the reports about what the White Sox wanted from the Orioles for Dylan Cease, and then we saw what they got from the Padres, and we were like, wait a second, that doesn't seem like that was quite as much as what it is they were trying to get from the Orioles, and it's a reminder that because, as you point out, the Orioles have so much, it feels like teams are targeting higher returns in their conversations with the Orioles. So even for a Ryan Helsley who, outside of Mason Miller, who we all know that it's just not happening. Like, that's just not practical.
Not happening.
Helsley does seem like the guy. What would be, what is the right return? Because I also factor in that it does seem like Mike Elias is – this Pythagorean model matters to him. He's not overpaying. He believes what someone's value is, and that's what he wants to pay for him. What is the right value of what the Orioles have for someone like Helsley?
Yeah, and that's why you want Mike Elias in that job for the next 10 years, right? Because he's not going to make that bad trade. And, I every time I looked up, when they traded for Burns, the first thing I did was I looked up to make sure that Joey Mayo wasn't in that trade, right? I wanted to make sure Colton Cowser wasn't in that trade. Pasali wasn't in that trade. Like, when he was able to hold those guys out, and you knew you weren't going to put the other guys in, but when he held out and didn't have to put them in, that was like, okay, this is the right guy leading Baltimore, because this team is built for 5 to 7 years, and you don't want to trade that core, not just the core at the big league level, but the core at the minor league level. But, if I have to do Heston Kjerstad, it's okay. If I have to do Cade Povich or Chayce McDermott, it's okay, right? So if there's a combination there and one of those guys is the headliner to get me Helsley with some more lower-level guys that don't matter to the Orioles, that's what I'm looking at. And it's doable. There's no doubt in my mind it's doable. What you have to hope for is if you get to the end of July, you got to hope that St. Louis continues to lose,
right,
and they sell. Because as of today, John Mozeliak is looking for a veteran starting pitcher, and he's talked to the White Sox about Eric Fetty, and he's talked to the Marlins about Jesus Luzardo, and so he's trying to buy, which he shouldn't be doing, by the way, but he's also probably in the last year of running the Cardinals, and I don't think he wants to go out a loser, and he wants to try to win in what might be his final year. So, it's complicated. There's not a lot of sellers, and that's why you mentioned a little bit ago about the White Sox, because, right, Garrett Crochet is going to be traded. Eric Fetty's going to be traded. Lewis Roberts going to be traded. And Chris Getz is making it clear to everyone. He's trading everyone on the Major League roster for prospects. So that's the one place you can shop.
Would Kopech be, where's your faith?
No.
Okay.
No, I need – look, if you're going to do this, I need a guy that I can 100% believe in. I don't need a risk here. You have risk. You have quality. You have risk. You don't have to do anything. I want the guy that changes the game plan. Ryan Helsley does that. That's why if I'm the Orioles, that's the guy I'm targeting.
Jim, what about our friends up in New York? What do they have enough to make any moves at the dead? Obviously, Garrett Cole coming back is going to help him if he's able to come back. But do they have enough to go out and get some pieces that they need?
Well, in talking to the Yankees, they really don't have a lot of needs, but I think the one area that they're watching closely is the right side of their infield. So they're not really happy with the offensive production they've been getting from Anthony Rizzo and Gleyber Torres. And it's not that they're definitely going to upgrade there. They may just stand pat. But, Brian Cashman, Aaron Boone, and Tim Naring and that staff over there, they're really isolating on the right side of the infield. So, again, if the Cardinals fall out of it, they may make a run at Paul Goldschmidt and see if Goldie and Rizzo can figure out first base between the two of them. There's also a possibility if Dominguez comes back and healthy, they could also dangle Verdugo for another first baseman. But that's kind of the area that they're looking at. They're pretty happy with their rotation. They feel like it's deep. They like what they have in the minor leagues. Poteet threw great against the Dodgers on Friday, battling Yamamoto. He ended up losing, but he pitched great. And Cole's going to have one or two more rehab starts, and then he's going to be back in the rotation. Their bullpen's been really good, and with Soto and Judge, they score whenever they want. So I don't think they're going to make huge moves, but if they do, it'll be just upgrade the right side of the infield.
I want to. It's away from the trade deadline, Jim. But if I could, I just want to get your perspective, a GM's perspective, on the situation the Orioles have with Cedric Mullins, who I'm an unabashed fan of, and I am. It hurts me. It's almost personal because I got 2 kids that are growing up now, 9 and 7. They're Orioles fans, and they love him, and it's just tough to watch this right now. And I don't know. You have an option. He hasn't gotten to 5 years of MLB service time. You could just send him down, but that is a very difficult thing to do for a veteran, a guy that's 30 years old, has accomplished as much as Cedric Mullins has. What do you do if you're in Mike Elias's shoes and trying to figure out? I mean, we're at June 12th at this point. It's not a small sample size anymore.
Yeah, I've been there, okay, and I took the ruthless route, right? So I optioned Aaron Boone out with 3 years of service time. I optioned Brett Boone out in June. Almost sent Sean Casey out in June. Didn't send him out in his particular case. Look, you got to fix it. You're in a pennant race. You got to fix it. But you have to know the player, and you have to know if he would be game to do it, and you have to talk to him before you do it. Because look, you're going to win with him not hitting. You're going to be okay if he doesn't hit. Look at the standings now. You're going to be okay. But you need to get him going. And so I would sit with him and say, hey, can we send you down for 10 days, clear your head, we'll lead you off every single game, make sure you maximize the at-bats, and let's just get you straight and bring you right back. I mean, that's what I would try. And if he sat there and said, I don't want to go, I don't want to do it, he's too important in the clubhouse for me to make him really unhappy. But you got to fix him at the same time. I'd also be talking to the White Sox about Lewis Robert too to play center field.
Interesting, very interesting. Is he healthy enough that you can have confidence? Like it's going to cost you.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably not going to pay the price, right? But I'd inquire. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, I get that entirely.
But you got to fix them all. The other thing I'll say is look at how many hitters in baseball right now aren't hitting. Go look at Corbin Carroll's batting average, which I think is still under 200. I mean, if you look around the game, don't let what's happening to the industry. Don't ignore that when you're looking at your hitters that are struggling, because there's a lot of really good hitters in Major League Baseball. Randy Arozarena is under 200. There's a lot of good players that are hitting under 200 or around there, and it's because this pitching right now is just that friggin' good. I mean, look at the Braves guys. I mean, Austin Riley's not hitting.
Yep.
Matt Olson isn't hitting. I mean,
Acuna wasn't hitting, right? Like, even before he got hurt, Acuna was struggling.
Yeah, there you go.
How about this kid in Pittsburgh, Jim?
Again, some of this is an industry thing, but you got to fix Mullins. You can't be hitting 174 and playing center field.
Right. How impressed are you with the kid in Pittsburgh? Another unbelievable performance last night. The Cardinal fans gave him a standing ovation.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, that splinter pitch of his, that split sinker, splinker. It's a splinker pitch.
Right.
It's unhittable, right? I mean, they're hitting 073 against that pitch. 073.
Right.
Like it comes in at 94 miles an hour, and it just dies, and you got no chance. The interesting thing is they hit his fastball a little bit, right? It's 99 in velocity, but he doesn't always command it in the zone yet.
It looks a little like Zach Britton's heyday with the Orioles, when no one could hit that pitch of his.
Nothing.
Yeah. I mean that's what it is right now. But yeah, he's gonna be a star for a long time. And I'm happy for the city of Pittsburgh, right? Because they've been through so much hell, and they haven't had a starter like this since Garrett Cole, and now you got him and Jarrett Jones and Keller. I mean, if they can get any offense at all, they can be a competitive team. They can win more than they lose. So it's when you have a rotation at the top, as you guys know, you've watched Tampa all these years. When you have a rotation at the top, you can contend every year. And Pittsburgh's going to finally have that rotation. So it'll be fun to see what Ben Cherington, the GM of the Pirates, can do in trying to build an offense around it, because they're going to need run support. It's going to be tough to get run support with that lineup.
I could just see it now in 2026,
Pirates,
2027, 2028,
right?
Orioles and Pirates. Who'd have thunk it?
I'm all in. Jim, real quick before
I'm all in too.
Before I let you go, just because I want to follow up on something you wrote at The Athletic, you said the Orioles, they don't want to trade away their top 4 or 5 prospects. Is that the guys that are already here, like the Cowsers, Westbergs of the world, or is that still the next group, the Mayos, Basallos, of the world.
Oh, that's the next group.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the next group too. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah, we know we're not doing the big league guys, but you're not doing the top minor league guys either, which, by the way, is the right play. It is the absolute right play. And that's why you guys have the right GM there. I'm telling you, this guy here is going to win multiple Executive of the Year awards in his career because he's really good at what he does. He knows what he's doing, and he really knows hitters better, as good or better than any executive in the sport. He knows hitters.
He is, of course, Jim Bowden. Jim, anything specifically, because I know you're everywhere, anything specifically that we can plug for you?
I mean, you can always plug that you can read me at The Athletic. You can see me on CBS Sports HQ daily, including 320 today. And you can always listen to me on SiriusXM, either on MLB Network Radio or on the Fantasy Channel.
Always.
And that would be all my plugs, and I appreciate it.
At Jim Bowden, GM on Twitter. Always appreciate taking the time for us, Jim. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks, guys. Talk soon. Bye.
Jim Bowden, former MLB GM, with us here on GCR. When we come back in, we're going to play Would You Rather Wednesday. And maybe, you know what, we might even mesh that in with That's What's Wrong with This Country.
Rumor is they're watering some of the greens at Pinehurst this morning.
Because they needed to.
Yeah, so that's an interesting change in there.
So now Tiger's winning.
No. I'm just saying that the golf course, they're getting nervous about losing the golf course over the weekend.
So now the winner's going to be at 10 under.
Not necessarily. I don't think it's going to get any. They're not going to get any rain.
Right.
They're just. I think this is just. Let's not let it get
this could
completely
be bad.
crazy.
This could be bad.
Yeah.
All right. We'll come back in. Would You Rather Wednesday / That's What's Wrong for This Country. That's next. Drew's here. Glenn Clark Radio.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
The ultimate fan experience awaits you at Sports and Social Maryland. See how we're raising the sports bar with our massive 100-foot media wall featuring 40 HD TVs and a 47-foot big screen. Bet on your favorite teams and this year's biggest events at the FanDuel Sportsbook while enjoying your favorite beers and cocktails, plus our delicious takes on bar food classics. Visit Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland at Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Discover one of Baltimore's hidden gems at Guilford Hall Brewery. Enjoy dinner in our spacious brew pub, sip a signature cocktail in our outdoor dog-friendly beer garden, or take a tour of our brewery. Discover your new favorite local craft beer. From crisp lagers to hoppy ales, there's something for everyone to enjoy. Pair your brew with delicious appetizers and entrees. There are options for the whole family, but you have to try our fan-favorite giant pretzel. Guilford Hall Brewery, where every sip is a celebration. Visit us online at guilfordhall.com.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Luke Jackson profiles Grayson Rodriguez, talking to people who have been part of his path as the Orioles hope he'll become their next homegrown ace. Also inside, we remember legendary Maryland basketball coach Lefty Driesell with stories from legends like Roy Williams and Bobby Cremins about what it was like to go up against the old left-hander. Press Box is available at over 500 locations around Baltimore, including 60 Royal Farm stores. You can also find the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
The drug scene in Maryland is changing. Fentanyl and xylazine are being added to street drugs, and you may not even know it. Xylazine is not even intended for humans, and fentanyl is an opioid 50 times stronger than heroin and contributed to over 80% of overdose deaths in our state. Anyone who uses drugs, even occasionally, is at risk of overdose. To learn more, visit stopoverdose.maryland.gov or call or text 988.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
I have to save this maybe. We'll have to do this another. We have to do
Already
this.
gave me this pink microphone thing. I'm already agitated.
I knew you were excited about being Pride Month. I wanted you to be here to help us celebrate. I know this is your favorite month of the year. You get your Rainbow Rice Krispie treats.
April is my favorite month of the year.
Because of the Masters.
Yeah,
that's
right.
it. That's the only month we care about.
Right.
Drew Forrester is here, drewsmorningdish.com. It is a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of the program. If you missed Stan the Fan Charles, Ross Grimsley, and Luke Jackson on Monday, find it right now, facebook.com/PressBoxSports. YouTube.com/PressBox. Settle down. PressBox. Stop.
Ross.
Oh, no.
Didn't
You
miss-
don't even know Luke. Why are you going to fight with him?
We worked together with him for like 12 years.
No, it's a different
Oh, it's a different
Luke.
guy.
Different guy.
Oh, well, never mind that.
Yeah. That guy's the nicest guy on the face of the planet. He's so nice. He just can't quit.
Right.
He can't just say.
You wouldn't quit either if you were doing that and you weren't working.
Oh, I don't know what he does. I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
Luke goes out there to Owens Mills and rides over to the Oriole games.
Is that all he does?
Yeah,
I
pretty
guess that's probably
much,
all he
I
does.
think.
I don't know what else he would do. I love Luke. He's a
I do like
very
Luke.
good kid. He's not a kid. He's my age. I don't know what I'm saying.
Right.
It's very weird. All right. Anyway, the moral of the story is you can watch that show. Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline, or PressBoxOnline.com/video if you want to check out Stan, Ross, and Luke talking baseball this week. Now, Would You Rather Wednesday. We got another $25 gift card to Glory Days Grill to give out to someone who participates at random today. Been a little bit slower today in responses, so you might have a better chance if you get in and try to participate. Would you rather number one? I want you to work with this hypothetical for me. Dean Kramer is ready to return this weekend.
Okay, against the Phillies.
And the Orioles have decided they don't want to do six-man rotation anymore. They want to go back to five-man rotation.
Okay.
So would you rather
Suarez.
Dean Kramer in the rotation,
Okay.
Albert Suarez in the bullpen, Albert Suarez in the rotation, Dean Kramer in the bullpen?
Well, you already know the answer to this.
Do I?
Yeah, it's Suarez has to go to the bullpen
Why?
because he fits that role. Kramer's a starting pitcher. Suarez is a hybrid. He's made exactly the same amount of starts as he has relief appearances this year. 7 starts, 14 appearances. Suarez is the answer. Kramer can stay as a starter.
Kremer. That's what you got for me? It's Kremer. You got Kremer.
Kremer.
Griffin.
Suarez is probably
Yes. Please. For
Big Al is
no,
probably
no,
the
Suarez. He would like you to say.
Albert Suarez.
No,
No.
this is unbelievable.
Suarez. Oh, for God's sake.
Albert
He's doing it on
Suarez.
purpose
Yes,
now.
he is.
And this is affecting my
Well,
OCD.
you say that. I'm not certain that he's doing
This
it on
is
purpose.
my
This is the funny
Big
part.
Al Suarez.
Oh, my Lord.
Is that not right? Was that not right there?
I just opened my mouth a little bit. Suarez!
He doesn't.
Suarez.
This is the funny part. He doesn't even know that's actually
Did
his
you
name.
not watch
He's just convinced of it
Suarez.
because
Ted Lasso?
Yes, thank
Suarez.
you. That's what he's.
Did you not watch Ted
Suarez.
Lasso?
All right.
Probably is the answer. I mean, like, is there any chance? Like, if they're trying to find
I think it's the answer for what they would do.
Kramer, like, they're trying to find that Kramer could be like a high leverage,
What was the
and, like,
goalie's name? Thoreau?
high
Yeah.
impact.
No.
Zorro.
Zorro. Thank you. Zorro. Yeah.
Zorro.
Yeah. Sorry. Let him finish.
And see if he could be a high leverage, like, and what Jim Bowden says was saying, could he be a high impact guy in
Who?
the bullpen? Kramer.
Now,
Feel good about it. All right. Let's hang on a second.
I mean, like,
Let's have
maybe-
the
who knows?
awkward conversation about
Oh,
Dean
let's have an
Kramer.
adult
All right, let's
conversation.
have that awkward conversation
Why?
about old Dean Kramer. In 2022, Dean Kramer was a fairly high-level starter. That's the entirety of Dean Kramer high-level starter that we have. We have nothing. Dean Kramer is that guy that like everybody likes and has enough really good starts that you like remember them and kind of forget how mid.
He's got really good hair.
He does have really good hair. There's no doubt about that. He's got
I don't know about
fantastic
that.
Hair. What? What? You don't think he has
I'm not
fantastic hair?
I'm not a huge man bun fan.
Well, he doesn't wear a man bun. He lets it flow. He lets it.
No, he's had a man bun.
At times,
Yes.
but I think
But
when
again,
he lets
you see
it
him
flow,
like
it's-
80% of the time because he's not pitching.
But man
Down.
bun. When I see the man bun, I'm losing.
Here's my point. A year ago, he pitched to a 4.1 ERA and a 1.3 WHIP. Like
That's not good.
it's not that it's
It's
bad.
not terrible. It's
Right.
league average.
It's
Probably.
league average.
Right.
The year before that, he pitched to
He
a.
also threw 175 innings.
I
170
understand.
innings.
The year before that, he pitched to a 3.2 ERA and a 1.2 WHIP, which is certainly
way below league average.
Right, no doubt about that. The year before that, it was awful, right, in 2021. We've got one season, and this year he's been off to a rough start. Like, the 4.3 ERA and a 1.1 WHIP. Like, we've got one season of Dean Kramer being above average. And since then, nothing that really backs up that that's who Dean Kramer is. And so everybody's saying Kramer, but I think it's just because we're used to Kramer being in the rotation, and we're like, dude, this isn't real with Albert. We can't. But is it? Like, and that's the difficult part that I have with this conversation is that I know why you feel that way, but at what point do you recognize, hey, what this guy is doing is legitimate right now, and maybe you ride it out for a little while. You don't have a long man in your bullpen.
That's what I feel like Suarez is the.
I understand that, but we've pointed out Suarez's numbers are not as good out of the bullpen as they are as a starter.
Something about him as a starter. No
There's
doubt.
just something, and I think he's said in an interview that like he just doesn't really like pitching out of the bullpen.
Well, that's tough cookies there.
In general, while I agree with that,
punch you right in the face.
If he needed to go to the bullpen, right? Like if it was, dude, we don't have a choice. You're pitching out of the bullpen.
Who is pitching for us this weekend? Burness is pitching one of those games.
Yes, he'll be coming back. So hang on, because they don't have an off day. I got to do this math again. Well, yeah, it's the Stars this weekend.
Irvin's pitching tonight.
No, Povich is tonight.
Oh, Povich tonight. So
and then
Burness is Saturday then.
That's
would be
right,
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Is Grayson?
No, he'd be. Well, it depends on whether they want to keep him on 5 days or not.
Grayson's on.
He
Friday.
would probably be Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah, Grayson would be.
Well, that's a loss.
Oh wait, we got to figure out where Bradish goes.
Right. If they're just going with a regular 6-man rotation, right? Like if they're not, because that was part of the conversation about 6-man was were you going to keep Burns pitching specifically every 5th game in a 6-man rotation? And I don't know if they've made that decision. But if they don't do that, if it's just line up 6 guys and they start every 6th day, then it would be Irvin tomorrow, Bradish, Rodriguez, Burns on Sunday.
Gotcha. Then
but then it's
no Burns for the Yankees.
No, he would not be back to start against the Yankees.
Only 3 games. Yeah.
So I guess then again, there's two parts of that equation. The first part being, are they ready to have Bradish just go on normal rest again? Are they confident after they saw what they saw on Saturday that he's totally fine? And do they want to have Burns pitch on the 5th day, not on the 6th day?
I'd rather have Burns pitch against the Yankees.
If you pitched Burns on Saturday,
you'd be forcing it to try to get him back by Thursday.
Just bring this kid up that we just talked to and let him pitch Sunday.
Well, then Brett. So then
not,
what?
that,
Burns,
you would
then
need
Burns
to do that.
has 8 days off. Like
just somebody step in a pothole. Bring this kid up.
Well, no, but you could conceivably, if you really wanted Burns to pitch against the Yankees, you could start him on Saturday and again on Thursday.
No, I don't want to do that.
Why not? He's here for 1 year. Like what?
I'd rather.
What's your opposition to that?
I'd rather have him start the first game.
Well, the Phillies are good too. I'm not sure if you heard.
Kind of a fluky.
Yeah,
weird.
3 guys with sub-2 ERAs.
Kind of a fluke. Who are they pitching on up?
They would
weekend?
They would line. I
Wheeler?
think Suarez is lined up for this weekend.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we. So hang on.
Ranger Suarez.
it would be
roster. I'm going to go to roster resource. Yeah, it would be Suarez, Walker, and Wheeler.
Now, if the Orioles had a hair on their rear end, it would be Suarez versus Suarez.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I mean, Walker's not been. He hasn't been great this season.
Yeah,
so that would be the one respite in there. But yeah, Suarez and Wheeler. That's a hell of a.
No Nola.
No Nola.
Nola pitches tomorrow.
No Nola.
Okay. Saturday and Sunday are sold out, I heard.
Well, yeah, because there's like 30,000. There's like a huge contingent of Philly fans coming down.
What did you think about the patch?
I don't care. You can't get me to care.
I'm the same way.
You cannot.
These people that are all upset about this patch.
There are two. These are the relevant points that have been made. A couple people pointed out, hey, there are other teams that have said we'll do a patch, but you got to do your patch in team colors. So your logo, it's got to be a version of your logo that's in team colors.
That's dumb.
You know that if you push that to somebody higher up at T-Row price, they're going to say, right, then nobody's going to notice it.
Correct.
Then it's just going to bleed in with the rest of the uniform.
Correct.
So we're not going to give you that much money for something that's going to bleed in with the rest of the uniform.
Correct.
So I get.
And they also had to give in a little bit on this. I'm pulling back the curtain a little based on something I know. That they went to the 11th hour with them regarding the naming of the stadium, and it fell apart. And I shouldn't say it fell apart. They never could agree on the number, and they didn't want to lose them. And this was a little bit of their make good. Was we'll just put it in there in blue. Dark blue and light blue. We know it. We know we're going to get some heat for it. We're okay with it. So this was a little bit of a make good to them too. They wanted their money. They want them involved. They are a Baltimore company.
Mm-hmm.
They they weren't able to make the deal for the naming rights. That doesn't mean that they might not make it in 3 years. T-Row's not doing great right now, and if they were to turn this around a little, it could still be T-Row Price Park in 3 years.
That was my first thought. My second thought is, we see this with the soccer jerseys. You want to go buy your kid a Messi jersey, you got to buy. The advertiser is on the front of the jersey for your kid.
Right.
I don't like that. Now, that's the soccer thing, and that can be it. I would have an issue with this if I take my kid to a game, my kid says, I'd like a Rutschman jersey, and I go into the team shop, and the jersey that I got to buy in the team shop also has to have a logo on it, right? Like that.
You wouldn't want the patch to be on the sleeve?
No. My kid should not have to be advertising for T-Row Price because he wants to. I'm paying you $100 whatever dollars for a jersey.
Is the patch going to be on the sleeves?
I don't know. I have no idea. Like I don't. That's what I'm making this comparison because we see it in soccer, right? In soccer, it's not. I can't go to the store and buy my kid a Miami Messi jersey that says.
It's why T-Mobile buys. It's why these companies.
Right.
It's why the airline, whatever they're called, whatever the big airline is over there, the
Dubai.
Yeah, whatever that. Etihad, whatever it's called. It's why they do this in the first place. They do it for TV and they do it for national recognition, but they also do it because they want 60,000 people to come to the games wearing the jersey with their logo on the front.
Right, and that's that part.
I would have to. I'm very interested to know the answer to this.
Right.
Are the Oriole replica jerseys that are on sale right now in the stadium?
Text Stecca, because we assigned him to go look at that last. Oh, he might be at a funeral today.
It doesn't matter. Text him anyway. Are they?
Yeah, text him. Just say, hey, Glenn wanted to know if you happened to.
Drew
see
wants to know.
He told me he was going to look.
Do they have the patch on the sleeve?
I would like to know that. And if they don't yet, or is that coming? Like, because it's totally possible. Hey, we didn't have time to do that yet, but the next batch of jerseys that we're going to run will all have the patch on the sleeve.
Last night, right?
The team did, yes. But I'm saying, like, to go.
Oh, okay, so let's go back to that because that is interesting. You, consumer Glenn.
I am less inclined to buy my son a jersey if it has a patch on the sleeve.
That's really interesting.
I am. I'm spending a lot of money on this jersey. I do not feel the need for my son to be doing advertising for you. I don't. Like, and it's not any. I have no beef with T-Row Price. Like, they're fine. They're the local company. But like if you want to say to me, hey, the jersey's going to be $20 less if you'll let your son do some advertising for us. That $100 jersey's now $80 if you put a patch on it. By all means.
You're already getting your kid into the NIL stuff. Huh?
Yeah, right. Like you want my kid to be doing the 100%.
Right.
No, he's not. They're 9 and 7 now, Drew. It's fine because Ethan's 35.
Right. Just had 2 kids. That's interesting.
I walked by the other day.
That's
he was
a very
cigar.
American way of thinking.
Yes. Like this is
a very American way.
I think about value.
I'm not helping those people.
They're not doing anything for me.
Well, but they are.
Every jersey has like the Nike logo on
but
it.
They are helping.
How?
They're going to help keep the team better.
That's the third part of it. That's the third part of this.
If they wind up spending,
here's my step 3 to this.
If they wind up spending $50 million a year,
sounds great.
On
right?
the stadium,
then this was a win. Of course, sounds great. Here's the problem: it's trusting in a capitalistic society for you to believe that a billionaire is going to choose payroll over pocket, and that's always a very difficult. Like, is that going to be the case? I sure as hell hope so. And if it is, then it's a win.
Okay, but this is more of a crawl, walk, run. They're not taking the $5 million they got for the patch and making a dent in their payroll.
Right.
They're just not.
Right.
First of all, the elephant in the room is we all know this. They're making so much money they can't even see straight. That this is going to sound like you and the radio you and I used to do circa 2008. Any thought at all that they can't pay these guys the money that they're going to be deserving,
right.
It's laughable.
Yeah, there's a reason why no one's ever been allowed to see the books.
Correct.
Yes.
They're making so much money, they're laughing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you parlay this, if this becomes a toe in the water for T-Row Price, and their bottom line changes now in the next 3 years, and their portfolio changes, and they now can afford $50 million a year for the naming rights. Now that might make a difference in the way the business goes. I'm not suggesting that they're going to take all these kids that are wearing these T. Rowe Price jerseys around town. Man, let's go spend $50 million on the name rights of the stadium. I'm not saying that 1 and 1 equals 2 there. I just think it's a natural. It's crawl, walk, run. Let's see how this goes. I'm almost the opposite of you. I almost think if I were T. Rowe Price, I would demand that it's on those jerseys.
I would think there would have to be a much more significant price to be paid for that.
Okay.
Like you're not you want to.
It's part of the official jersey.
I understand that. You want to get that, then it's got to be more than what you paid in order to get that patch on the jersey. Like there's got to be a bigger price for that for me. No pun intended, T-Row.
Huh.
And again, that to me, I'm telling you,
I don't see all of the angst about it in general.
The angst in general to me is
Right.
nonsense.
I don't
It's
get
nonsense.
that. It
But
is what
I
it
have
is.
a couple of thoughts related to it, and I would tell you that like if I go to the store, the game, if I take my kid to a game this weekend and I go to the store and there's a T-Row price patch on it, I'm going to go online and try to see if I can find somewhere where there isn't. Like that's going to be my thought process. My kid doesn't need to advertise for T-Row price. Not a thing.
But that train of thought is the exact opposite everywhere else in the world but here.
I don't know if it's everywhere else in the world. I think it's,
Very close.
It's very significant. Like it's gone the other way.
Right.
But that I don't share that feeling. And I get it. I know what you're saying. And it's not just soccer. There are other
And we did it. I did it when I was in the soccer business and I guess I would say I don't remember exactly what I was thinking.
And by the way, look,
But-
somebody's going to say, like, you're going to deny your kid the jersey. I do want to make this abundantly clear.
Well, of course you will.
No. Like, if it's the one thing that, like, my kid wants for Christmas,
Shut
isn't it? I was at the...
Shut up, kid.
I was at the... we went up to New York some weekends ago, and we were there with another family that we're friends with that's from Quebec. We met them in New York. And they were there. Their kids are also obsessed with baseball, so they wanted to go to the MLB store in New York. And I had told my son all day, like, both kids, you will be able to buy one thing all day. One thing, whatever we do today, you can buy one
Playboy
thing. Yeah, of course.
Graham came out with a Playboy magazine.
God, I wish it was more like they wanted a Prime. That's what they want.
Right.
So we're at the first place we go that day is the MLB store, and my older son, comes up to me holding an Adley Rutschman jersey. Like, I found my thing. This is what I want. And I was like, dude, you got all day. Like, keep it in your pants. We can get you a Rutschman jersey another day. Like, hold on. Well, I'm very angry at that decision because ultimately we ended up at the Harry Potter experience, and they wanted a toy magic wand that cost me $70 each. So in hindsight, he was right, I was wrong.
Right.
I screwed it up. But if that's all he wanted for Christmas, and the only way to get one was to get a T-Rex, fine. Like, I'm not going to deny my kid the thing that he wants. But I would 100% try to look online and see if I could find a jersey that didn't have the patch on it. Like, I feel something about that. I don't know how to explain it. Like, you're not.
It's just very American.
You're not
It's
paying
just an
me.
American way of thinking.
I don't need to do your bidding for you. Like, this, you want that? There's a price for that. Like, again, you want to knock $20
I'd
off
have
the
to
jersey?
look back and see. We might have experienced something very similar when we put the Jolly Rancher logo on our uniforms in the soccer business. I don't remember. I definitely remember.
It's a cool logo.
I definitely remember people.
I think kids would be more inclined to buy a jersey that said Jolly Rancher on
Well,
the front of it.
I do remember people when we first introduced it. People definitely objected. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
People objected to it, and I don't remember because I didn't do the deal. I don't remember what we got from Jolly Rancher for that. I want to say maybe $35,000 sticks out of my mind.
Okay.
Now, when we did the deal with the yogurt company, which included changing the colors of the team, that was $150, $200, and capped out at $250. And then after the third year, we had a 5-year option. All this never happened because the team got sold back to Ed, and Ed squashed it. But when we changed the colors and put the logo on the front for $150,000, dude, $150,000 in 1997 to me?
That. Yes. Yes.
Well, that was
a
massive.
I believe it, and I have no
That
doubt
was an easy decision for me to make.
Yeah, you're willing to say, look, man, I'm not getting this anywhere else. I understand.
I mean, we
that.
changed we changed everything.
Yep.
For that, because
totally
that money
do.
mattered. In
Right.
the same way that when in 10 years, when the U.S. Army goes to the Orioles and says, we'll give you $30 million for the patch, the Orioles are going to say,
Yeah,
done.
What else do you want? Right. Like, yeah.
Can you wear a camouflage jersey every Saturday?
Yeah.
Of course
Well,
we
they
can.
already do some of that.
Right.
Like the Ravens do all that. That's why
Right.
You do the whole flyover thing. Like
Right.
that is paid for. Number 2, would you rather you spend your week, all week this week, the one thing you're doing is sitting in a room watching every team's OTA practice film video.
Yes.
All right? Taking notes. That's what you're doing all week. Or you spend your week this week at whatever primal retreat you know Aaron Rodgers is at because he's skipping OTA.
Well, you know the answer to this.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You're going you're going to go.
Of course. I'm
But
going to
you-
go for the what's the name of the stuff? Ayahuasca or whatever it's
I don't.
called.
I think that you're.
Was he beyond that now?
I think it might be something beyond ayahuasca.
Worse?
I think it might be.
Is that how you pronounce that, by the way?
I think
Yes,
these
that
might
is.
be
Well
like.
done.
Ayahuasca.
I'm not unconvinced that at some point this
Ayahuasca
week.
called him and said, "Enough's
yeah,
enough.
we're good.
Enough's
I
enough."
know. I'm not unconvinced that whatever he's doing this week, this sentence hasn't been uttered. Yeah, it's definitely not gay because it's about the power that you feel. There's something. These primal folks are. They're different, man. Like they are. You want to go eat some raw livers this week? You want
Aaron
to go?
Rodgers definitely.
I have to participate in whatever.
You have to
he's
go
doing.
do it. You have to go be a part of it.
I'm signing up for it because I think it's a once in a lifetime thing.
Yeah, it should be a once in. I would prefer it to be a none in a lifetime.
It's a weird.
I swapped souls with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Like,
Remember when they what's his name when they went on the
soul-bonded.
roof and what's his name cut himself in The Hangover and
Oh, okay. Yeah,
just rub our fingers together and they're like, what on earth? I think that's the kind of stuff that.
Oh, I think it's way beyond that, bro.
Really?
I think it's way beyond that.
But what about the ayahuasca?
He lived in
What about-
He lived in complete darkness for 3 days.
But what about the ayahuasca?
or whatever?
Can we
it
go
was, a
back to
week.
that?
I mean, maybe there could be some ayahuasca.
Okay.
Maybe that might be able to be a part of it. But I think you have to eat testicles. Like I think that's part
You've
of the
done
deal.
that. I mean,
Yeah, I was
have,
going to say,
yeah.
what was your experience like when you did that?
Not great. Didn't love it. But we've kept in touch over the years.
I bet you have. You just went to their wedding, didn't you?
Not bad. Not bad. Not bad.
I'll stick with the Aaron Rodgers. I'm not watching all these OTAs. Give me the.
Griffin was actually excited about watching OTA.
Give me the Aaron Rodgers experience.
I'm in a weird place where like
Can I wear his jersey and nothing else but his jersey?
Nothing. That's
Yeah.
really, by the way, I think that might come in handy.
Hey, Aaron, look what.
You
look what
watch?
I got, look what
Hang
I'm
on a
wearing.
second.
Wear his Cal jersey and just
Well, who did he? He was he with Danica Patrick
At one point,
yeah, for like a minute.
yeah.
and Rousey or no?
I don't think
Or no?
he ever dated.
Oh, what
Ronda
about the
Rousey.
Roy McIlroy story?
Oh, with what's her face? Yeah.
No.
No, is there?
You
another?
didn't hear what happened?
No.
Yesterday?
No.
He and his wife are back together.
What?
No divorce.
Oh, that's random. So
No divorce.
this is an example of the type of person that I think that Aaron Rodgers is hanging out with this week. This is what they're doing.
Oh,
That's
jeez.
from our guy Wear Purple Pants on Twitter.
Okay,
Yeah.
but what's that guy doing with his hands?
But you know exactly what he's doing with his hands. This is what
But what's he
They like-
accomplishing?
they think that somehow it makes them stronger. Like they go.
to
these
play
are
with
the people.
themselves
Yeah,
like that?
these are the people
It
that
hasn't worked for me.
fair. These are the people that go testicle tanning, Drew. They go tan their testicles
It hasn't worked for me.
because they have convinced themselves that like the UV rays, specifically the testicles, somehow make them more manly. Like
what is
this
going
is what
on
they
with
do.
this world?
That's what I'm saying. You're gonna go sign up
Yes.
for a week of this.
Yes, for sure. I got to see it in person.
Yeah, but you gotta do it if you go. Drew in his underpants in front of a fire, just slapping.
This is how Brett Favre played forever.
Is that how it was?
Do you think
What
the
happened to
Jets
that
should?
window, by the way?
Yeah, we've been trying to figure that out for some time.
I got mad and
When did
Yeah.
it break?
Like 2 weeks ago, Drew Griffin just looked up one day and was like, "Hey man, you notice this crack in the window?" I'm like, "No, I didn't."
That's
It's
weird.
wild. Yeah, it's a big one. You're watching football.
yeah, I'm watching. Yeah,
No,
I'm watching
I'm
football.
not. I'm going with Aaron Rodgers.
I might have to watch football.
Superstar.
Should the Jets have just excused him from this to like make
for
it?
whatever to make it not less
Yeah.
uncomfortable for
And I mean,
everybody.
also, and then so where they're gonna find him now? Like, is that?
No, they're gonna have to, right? Like you'd lose your locker room if they find other guys and they didn't find Aaron Rodgers because he's Aaron Rodgers. I mean, you'd lose the locker room over that. Like, and I know how these guys feel about OTAs, so like I don't think I really genuinely don't believe that anybody on the Jets actually cares that Aaron Rodgers isn't there for whatever stupid thing he's doing.
Did you like that he kept saying inexcused or whatever?
Yeah, like I don't think that any of the players actually care. The coaches all do, and the front office does, but the players, they don't. The OTAs are not going to exist within 3 years. They're not going to be a thing. They're going to go into this ramp-up period in July leading into training camp. That's what it's going to become. So the players don't care, but it is over the top. Robert Saleh going after Aaron Rodgers going into the. It's a hell of a sell the soul of your franchise to go get Aaron Rodgers. Remember we had Mike Greenberg on, and we were like, Mike, can you tell me why it is that you're good with like, and he was trying to sell like, I can't believe none of these teams are trying to get Lamar Jackson. I can't believe it. Well, Mike, you're a Jets fan. Do you want them to go after Lamar Jackson? Well, Aaron Rodgers is just so perfect, man. It's just. You did what you did, man.
I'm trying to think.
You got the guy you
like
got.
if
You got the guy you got. That's what it is. And then number 3, would you rather?
I'll go with Aaron.
I know. You're actually trying to figure out how to go meet him.
Yeah, I mean, is there a price for this? Right. Is there a cost involved?
No, I think you can just start a fire.
Shailene Woodley, Olivia Munn, and Danica Patrick.
Who are the others that he dated?
Oh, what's her name? Olivia what?
Yeah, Olivia Munn. She's lovely. Never doubt about that.
Very much. All 3 of them, by the way, said, dude.
Yeah, we're good.
I'm weird.
Yeah.
I drive cars around. I'm a girl, and I drive cars. I know I'm
weird. Wait. It's weird that a girl drives a car. You
race
think that's
car.
Weird.
Well, a race car.
Well, it's different. Like, not a lot of them have done it.
I know I'm different.
Okay.
Dude.
Yeah.
You make me look like amateur night.
We're good.
Right.
We're good. We're gonna ease up on all of this.
Right.
And number 3, needing some positive publicity, the Nathan's 4th of July contest has invited you to be a contestant this year. You get to do the whole thing.
Okay. I get announced.
You get the intro with the crazy announcer.
I love that.
You get they got music blasting the whole thing. Sure, you're not going to win.
His name Shea.
Richard Shea or George Shea. One of them.
George Shea.
Because they're brothers and they run the whole thing. You get to do it the whole deal. Go up on the stage, stand next to everybody with the T-shirt, the whole thing. Crowd going nuts. You get to be a part of it.
Flowing robes, the whole thing, right?
Or Joey Chestnut's going to come to your house and hang out and eat hot dogs on the 4th of July.
Oh, I'm going up there and getting on TV.
You're doing the thing. Everybody else is taking Joey Chestnut.
I got to be responsible for like buying 1,000 hot dogs. And
well, I don't know if he's gonna eat 1,000.
No, I want to go up there and I want to eat the 14 or 16 hot dogs and finish dead.
I don't even think you could eat 14.
I don't know.
I don't think you could.
Don't start.
Oh, we've done this.
This is how it starts.
I'll make this bad.
This is how it starts.
I know how difficult it was.
How many do you think you could eat, Drew?
What is it? 10 minutes? Is that the time?
Yeah.
Or is it 12 minutes?
In 10 minutes.
I mean,
How long is the Nathan?
Yeah, it's 10 minutes.
I think that's right.
It's 10 minutes.
10 minutes. 100%.
I could eat 60. What are you guys laughing at?
60,
I think with by the way, I think with Joey out this year, they set like the betting total
like
is now like
42.
50.
Yeah. I could eat in 10 minutes. Can you put mustard on them or no?
No. Well,
I mean, I guess. You
no, I don't think you're allowed to put any condiments on.
Okay.
But you can't dip them in the water.
Yeah,
you can't
I'm
do
not
that.
doing that.
Yeah, as a guy that did this once, you better.
Ugh.
Bro, you want to eat them or not?
I mean, no, I don't actually.
Yeah.
I could eat 6.
There you go. You know what? I believe you.
Now,
I could eat 7.
But could you eat 6 without puking?
But yeah.
Okay.
I could eat 6. Now, I tell you what I could eat a lot of.
What?
In 10 minutes.
Didn't we do this last year on the 4th of July show? Didn't we do a if you had your life is on the line, you've got to challenge Joey Chestnut in something. What do you believe you could beat him?
M&Ms. I could eat a lot of M&Ms.
It's too sweet for me. I couldn't. That's way too much. Way too much.
Maybe Twizzlers or something.
And I'll tell you what else.
It would have to be a savory. I couldn't do anything sweet.
Mugu Gai Pan.
By the way, when we go,
we need to go.
Yeah, when we gonna get around to that?
Mugu Gai Pan.
And when's Jeremy paying off his bet?
What's Jeremy?
Good question.
What'd he do?
Yeah, he owes us a significant bet. Can you please get on top of things?
Yeah, get on top of these welchers.
This guy, all he ever does is tell me about, I'm going on another vacation. He's going on like 6 vacations this summer. I can't get him to produce the show.
Well, you would too if you look like that. You'd be going.
What does that have to do with anything?
You'd be going on vacation too.
I would still be broke.
Talking to all these girls he talks to.
Yeah. Like the girl that came over to his house that he met at the bar, the golf girl.
I got a lot. By the way, I got a lot of high praise for that.
Oh, did you?
For that segment.
I got a lot of what happened to him. What?
I got a lot of high praise for that. M&Ms would be my thing.
I think it would have to be for me fruit. I could eat grapes.
I could eat a lot of grapes or apple slices. I can eat a lot of apple slices.
Yeah, I could eat a lot of apple slices too. I'm the MC for the Baltimore 10 miler, And so at one point I have to go from the finish line to the stage to go, like, Pat Ricard and I have to go present the winners or whatever. And so I walk right by, like, where they have everything sitting out for the people who actually win the race. And all I'm doing is just taking more and more fruit. Like,
stealing oranges and bananas.
They had that golden watermelon there this year. I think
I
I had like 6 slices of the golden watermelon, man. If it was a fruit eating contest.
Pineapple maybe? Like
He's going to wind up, by the way, in the thing.
You say that, but they never let Kobayashi back in.
Yeah, but why was Kobayashi out? For a similar reason?
It was advertised like a.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, he wanted to do.
I didn't think it was.
I don't think it was the same as this, but it was a similar story as this. Look, it would be insane. It's absolutely badass that this would be.
Looks like the USGA not inviting Tiger to the U.S. Open this week.
Yes.
It's like the USGA saying to Tiger,
well,
we know you're not eligible.
No. It's way worse than that. Because Tiger probably isn't going to win.
Okay, but
this would be like them not inviting Scotty Scheffler to the U.S. Open this week.
But he's otherwise already exempt. But I know what you mean.
Like it'd be like them not banning Tiger Woods in 2008 from the U.S. Open.
Right.
Is what this would be like.
Right.
Is saying you can't play the 2008 U.S. Open when we already know.
But it might also be made easier by the fact that he does win every year, and they might be like, what the hell.
I don't think so.
You think they like having him there?
I think that they know that.
I like the big guy, that guy Booker.
No, Badlands Booker is amazing.
Dude,
I love that.
Best,
dude. He would
man.
rap, and then he would like the
and
whole
would
thing.
eat like 21 hot dogs.
He was the biggest guy in the world. And he'd be like, man, I bet that guy could eat. Dude,
21.
You remember my story for the first one? So in 06, CBS Radio did not send me to like the Super Bowl. They didn't send me to the the big, and we were doing a bit about it on the air. And so they were like, don't worry, we got one for you. And they didn't send me to spring training. They sent me to the hot dog contest.
I love it.
Wow.
So I went up and covered. Now, I didn't know anything about it. Like,
Right.
it was not then what it is now, obviously. But I went up, and I went up because then it was a bit, right? I went up the day before. This was all shtick. This was
Right.
not like serious, but I treated it like I was seriously covering
Sure.
a sporting event.
Badlands
like
Booker.
I called in. All right, I got reports from the weigh-in. I got a guest for you. Here's Eric Badlands Booker. And I'm like, look at this guy. This guy could probably eat 1 million hot dogs.
No, he ate
Like, this guy-
21.
I don't even think he ate that many. I
Right.
think he ate like 16.
They show the thing, and it'll say like Chestnut 8, Booker 3.
Right.
Chestnut 17, Booker 6.
Right.
Like, and you look at him, and you're like, this guy could eat all the people in the thing.
Correct. He's the largest human I've ever seen. He he was a subway driver. That's what he did for a living. He drove the subway. Like
I
he
love
was
the guys
their
though that get up
conductor,
there and
I
they get
guess.
introduced and they paid their $25,000 entry fee. Or they won.
I don't think that's how you get in. I think
they won the asparagus eating contest.
No, they just have like sub regionals basically. Like you go to.
But they all get up there
Yeah.
and they go through the music and all, and then they
have
show
no
it,
chance.
And it
They
says
have
Chestnut 38,
Right, none of them.
Clark 14.
Well, except for the random year where Joey Chestnut was getting divorced and was depressed, and so Matt Stoney beat him. Like that was the one random year where he was not at the top of his game. But yeah, I'm with you. And by the way, that's what's wrong with this country. What's wrong with this country is the idea that we're going to have the 4th of July, and it's not going to involve our greatest American champion. That's what's wrong with this country.
There's a lot of things wrong.
Imagine saying we're going to have the most American day.
The Golf Channel messed up again. Do you see?
Oh, uh-oh.
They.
Uh-oh.
I have the video. They thought whatever
Well,
the
let's-
event
no,
was.
play the video.
It was they thought Vince Young was playing in the.
I
did you see that?
see
I
this.
did see that. Was
I
that the Golf
did
Channel
see
that messed
this.
that up?
I thought it was the Golf Channel.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. Vince Young's a nobody.
Okay, it's still a little bit awkward.
I did
It's
see
still-
that. Though. He was playing in the Pro-Am down at the Corn Ferry event down in South Carolina, and they mixed him up with somebody.
Yes,
Yeah.
some random person.
They thought it was Tim O'Neill when it was really Vince Young or something like that.
No, it was not. They thought it was Vince Young.
And it was Tim O'Neill or whatever it was.
It was just some guy.
Yeah.
Right. Correct. That's what happened. So is this going to be what prevents Griffin from getting laid?
No,
Like,
but the
this
other
isn't.
no,
Play the video or
no, it doesn't matter.
no more bad Golf Channel publicity.
Come to your house and chew gum.
I got so many things. I don't even want to get started with. I got so many things
It's
that are wrong
12
with this
it's
country.
12 o'clock.
I know. That's what I'm
It's
saying.
12 o'clock.
Just wait till
awkward,
November.
though, like,
What?
Because they're like.
Oh, it's terribly
I mean,
uncomfortable.
it's-
Do you remember the morning? Oh, you weren't here. Never mind. So one morning, when Kyle was producing the show, said, "Hey, Marty Morningweg is coming on," and it was like right after he had been fired. Like I was like, "Okay, we'll talk to Marty Morningweg." So I'm introducing him. It was probably it had to be in May. I was introducing him. I'm like, all right, now this man, former offense coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens, we welcome into the program, Marty Morningweg. And I go to the phone, and it's click. I'm like, all right, well, try calling him back. And so he goes to call him back. And all of a sudden, Kyle's face just goes like ashen, like just utterly, I didn't book Marty Morningweg this morning. I was like, what? He said, I booked Marty Smith from ESPN. He's covering the Preakness, and I just got the two of them confused.
Oh, my God. That's okay. We once got Kerry Williams confused.
Oh, yeah, UMBC, right. Some random guy. Some random. Oh, my
the boss.
God. My wife still thinks she met Lamar Jackson once at a party. It was just.
But the boss, remember the boss was down there glad-handed with Kerry Williams?
Oh, my God.
And we're like, X-nay.
Yeah,
That's not Kerry Williams.
I couldn't make it. I lined the whole thing up, and then I couldn't make it that night for whatever. I don't know what was going on. And I just remember being like, hey, man, everything good? And you're like,
yeah, not so much.
You're like, I'll talk to you about it later.
We sat in the front row with some guy who wasn't Kerry Williams.
Well, didn't you find out that was like a UMBC recruit or something like that, and there was a bigger problem?
Yeah.
You might have committed an NCAA violation.
Steve Levy sent me a note and said, can you go through exactly what happened?
Yeah.
And Kerry Williams hit on Michelle Korowski, and Phil Stern reached out to me. He's like, yeah, you know that football player you brought out? He was hitting on my basketball player mid-court doing foul shooting. I'm like, this whole night was a disaster.
I don't really blame him for that. She was lovely. Yeah,
I'm like, the whole night was a disaster.
It was, he showed up, which is way more than a lot of guys over the years.
With a bag of Cheetos.
Whatever, he showed up.
A thing of Visine.
How much did you pay him for that?
I don't.
Zero.
You know
Correct.
What we paid him for it.
I know.
Right.
He showed up because out of the goodness of me walking around the locker room trying to find somebody who was willing to come out and shoot free throws at a UMBC game.
Come out and shoot some foul shots. Bring your Cheetos and your Visine with you.
Hey, bro.
Sure.
What are you trying to knock a guy because he smoked weed?
Well, that's illegal in the NFL.
Is it?
It was.
Are you sure? You sure? I've been around a few guys. I'm not sure that was the case. All right.
Is the statute of limitations up on the Ed Reed story? Are we allowed to tell
I don't know if we should tell the Ed Reed story.
Yeah.
I don't know if we should. I think people might have their own Ed Reed story. I think they might not need to know.
Me and Ray Bachman.
Man, that was all right. All right, you got anything else?
That's it.
All right, that's Drew.
Stecca did check out the team store, and he said that there were no patches, and he's assuming that's because they need to sell whatever they have.
I would think.
Yeah. Find that out, though. Ask Stecca. No, tell Stecca to find it out. I mean,
he's at a funeral today, man.
Or if they haven't gotten them printed. He said there was a ton of T-Row promotion last night.
Yeah,
though.
T-Row promotion doesn't surprise me. But there's a
first
difference
pitch
between
from
promotion.
The CEO,
right.
And then they handed out rally towels with the logo.
Right.
With
Different
the
between promotion, and that's going to be the norm. I just want to know if that's the norm for the jerseys moving forward. I want to know if the next batch of jerseys they're going to sell at the team store.
Tell your kids you're not getting one.
Yeah, right? There's going to be no Christmas this year.
All right, boys.
There's Drew. Drew'sMorningDish.com. At It's a Hooded 4-Iron, and tune in Sunday 4 to 6 for Fairways and Greens on 105.7 The Fan. We'll come back in, get a tidbit and two-bit to wind things down. Don't forget, final days for this print issue of Press Box. Go get it right now, or you'll never see it again. We actually light them all on fire at the end of this week. That's the way it goes. I mean, it's the way we got to produce energy for this place somehow, some way. Next week, new print issue of Press Box with Governor Wes Moore on the cover. So go get this one right now before it's gone. Tidbit and two, but wind it down. Glenn Clark Radio.
The ultimate fan experience awaits you at Sports and Social Maryland. See how we're raising the sports bar with our massive 100-foot media wall featuring 40 HD TVs and a 47-foot big screen. Bet on your favorite teams and this year's biggest events at the FanDuel Sportsbook while enjoying your favorite beers and cocktails, plus our delicious takes on bar food classics. Visit Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland at Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hagerstown, Maryland. A snapshot of American history that dates back centuries. Today, the roots of the city expand with another historical moment, the grand opening of Meredith Park, Hagerstown's new event stadium and home to the Atlantic League Flying Boxcars. Experience the energy, culture, and adventure. Plan your getaway today at America's newest and most innovative ballpark. You're welcome in Hagerstown, Maryland. Visit Hagerstown.com.
The votes were all counted, and the results are official. Royal Farms was named #1 for food in the USA Today 10 Best poll, receiving more votes than any other convenience store chain in America. The next time you want to get some good food fast, doesn't it make sense to go to Royal Farms? Voted best in the USA and home of world-famous chicken. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
The Toyota Tacoma comes in a range of models and trim lines, so you can choose the perfect Tacoma to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The Ed Block Courage Award Foundation has been working in partnership with the NFL for 46 years to support abused, neglected, and at-risk youth across the country, partnering each team with a children's facility or program that supports the well-being of those in need. Annually, one player from each team is selected by their peers to receive the Courage Award for their inspiration on and off the field. Learn more about how the Ed Block Courage Award Foundation makes a difference, and be sure to check out their latest podcast and web series episodes at edblock.org.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCR as we are winding down for a Wednesday edition of the program. Continue to get me your responses for Would You Rather Wednesday, and somebody's winning a $25 gift card to Glory Days Grill. Again, at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter, Facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio. Those are the ways to get in. Is there anything we didn't talk about today? Oh, I guess Kristaps Porzingis is going to be out for Game 3 tonight. So
Officially out.
I think I saw that. Is that?
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean,
I think that was the.
I trust you.
But I think that was the assumption.
Well, just because I saw day to day at first, so.
I guess it's not official that he's out today. I take that back.
Okay.
Probably
limited if he
torn medial retinaculum. I'm not going to pretend like I know. But
he can
yes,
walk, he
not
should be out there.
not official that he is out for Game 3 tonight. We'll tell you more about that in a second. We do too, but right now, let's get a tidbit.
Have you ever thought of taking a cruise to these wonderful destinations with sunny skies and beautiful beaches? Well, wait no longer. We're ready for you to cruise from the Cruise Maryland Terminal.
Have a little phrase that you can go from baggage to margarita in about 15 minutes.
Choose fun with an array of destinations, onboard activities, entertainment, and world-class cuisine.
Contact your travel agent and book your cruise today. Let your adventure begin.
All right, what you got? Tidbit of the day.
So obviously you did now I guess I don't want to say you announced, but Jerry West did pass away. It was announced this morning. But he one of his most impressive stats is that he has the record for most 30-point games in the NBA Finals. 8 more such games. He's had 31 games in the NBA Finals with 30-plus points.
I did not know that.
8 more than the next closest.
Really?
Correct.
Wow.
It is very impressive.
Okay.
Only 2 other players have had 20 such NBA Finals games with 30 points. I mean, we could do the top 5 or I guess top 6. Yeah, I mean, we could do everyone with double digits. Let's just I don't know. What do you want?
Just tell me a number.
Because I wanted to do another tidbit as well. Let's do the 2 guys that have done it 20 times.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan is one of them.
LeBron James.
Those are yes.
Yeah.
LeBron and MJ and Jerry West.
Kinda.
That is the list. And then Elgin Baylor, Shaq. Elgin Baylor has 19. Shaq and Kareem both have 16. Steph has 14.
Okay.
30-point finals.
Sounds
games.
about right.
Yeah. And then on Monday nights, Luka, he did the best he could, but it was not enough as the Mavs did fall to the Celtics. He had a 30-point triple-double. He actually became only the 4th player to have a 30-point triple-double in a loss in the NBA Finals. Can you name the 3 others to score 30 points in a triple-double and still lose the NBA Finals game?
How?
And there have been 9 players total that have even had
Russell Westbrook.
as a guest period or as a guest that's as a loser?
I don't. What am I doing?
All right, fine. We'll do the 9 that have scored 30, I guess.
Okay, Russell Westbrook.
No, never.
So it didn't matter.
Never. Well, I wanted to.
This is so.
All right, you know what? Fine. All right, just name the guys that have.
What
lost.
am I doing?
The guys that have scored 30 points and a triple-double in the NBA Finals and still lost. Luka.
Well, I mean, like this is impossible because it's
not impossible.
Well, I mean, like
nothing's impossible.
Thank you, Kevin Garnett. LeBron.
Yes, LeBron.
Okay.
LeBron is also has also won while scoring a 30-point triple-double as well, though.
Oscar Robertson.
Not Oscar Robertson. Not on the list.
Triple-double guy, so you always to go to him. 30-point triple-double. 30-point triple-double. 30-point triple-double. How about Kevin Durant?
Not Kevin Durant. Not in the finals.
How about 30-point triple-double? 30-point triple-double. They're just not obvious answers here. I'll say Paul Pierce.
Not Paul Pierce. All right, so one of them in the 90s.
One of them in the 90s.
One did it in 1969. The other did it in 1993.
1993. Barkley?
Charles Barkley.
So fun.
30-point triple-double.
So fun. I mean, like everybody forgets that like Charles Barkley was a scorer.
Was against the Bulls in the 93 finals.
It's the only time the Suns. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. It's the last time the Phoenix Suns were in the NBA Finals was 1993.
Oof. Wow, really?
Yeah, the first was.
They had a few Western.
Western Conference Finals.
With Nash
not a few, like one.
Wow, that is surprising.
He
actually recorded the first 30-point triple-double.
First 30-point triple-double.
And it was in an NBA Finals loss.
NBA Finals loss. You said it was 69. So Jerry West.
It is Jerry West.
Yeah, I mean it's got to be a Laker, right?
Yeah. Luka, LeBron, Charles Barkley, and Jerry West. They only just scored 30 in a triple-double loss.
How about that?
Finals loss.
How about that?
Still 5 more guys that have done 30-point triple-doubles.
Jesus Christ. You're going to have to give me something.
Okay. All of them did it in the past since 2017. Or, sorry, all but one of them since 2017. So 4 since 2017.
All but one of them.
And then the other was in 1988.
Okay.
And he's a Laker.
1988 and was a Laker. So that would be probably not. I'll say Magic, but I don't think it's Magic.
Not
so
Magic.
Then James Worthy.
James Worthy.
All right, and then all of them since 2017, but not Durant.
Not Durant.
How about Jokic?
Yes, Jokic.
How about
Last
Giannis?
Year. Not Giannis.
How about Steph?
Yep, Steph Curry. In 2017. Got 2 more. One did it.
Kawhi?
Not Kawhi.
2 more. Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler did it twice in the 2020
Really?
in the 2020 finals.
Oh, that doesn't count.
That doesn't count. Okay,
That wasn't
cross
real.
multiple.
Is there anything else in the 2020 finals?
No.
Just throw it. Okay. That's not
The other did it in the same game that Jokic did.
NBA same
last
game
year.
that Jokic did last year. Oh, Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
This is the list of 30-point triple-double scorers
There you have it.
in the NBA Finals.
All right, it's then time for us to get totally tubular. No.
There is a place where
I mean, it's difficult to do.
You gotta be able to go from one to the other. You're gonna have to show me and we'll have to streamline it and figure it out because we gotta come up with a better solution.
there is a place where tradition, family, and community gather, where the aspirations of talented young competitors takes root, and where the crossroads of history, culture, and renewal come together. This spring, experience America's newest and most innovative ballpark, Meritus Park in Hagerstown, Maryland, home of the Atlantic League Flying Boxcars. Plan your getaway today. You're welcome in Hagerstown, Maryland.
All right, here's what's coming up tonight, totally tubular-wise. Cade Povich, indeed, makes his second big league start as the Orioles continue the series against the Braves. 6:35 on Masson. It's Spencer Schwellenbach on the mound for the Braves, so you know lots about. Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Maybe Kristaps, but we'll see what's the story with Kristaps Porzingis. Game 3 is the series shifts to Dallas tonight. On ABC at 8:30, apparently they're doing some goofy ESPN broadcast, so probably stupid.
What, like a stat thing?
No, or Kevin Hart or Stephen A. Smith or some companion nonsense thing that they do. I don't even want to try to guess.
Maybe they have I guess they'll just use the same halftime show. Yeah.
Well, they don't do a halftime show. It doesn't. I don't want to talk about it. A friendly tonight for the U.S. men, and
is that what's wrong with this country?
Boy, if it went well against Colombia, imagine how it's going to go against Brazil tonight at 7:00 on TNT. You say that.
It's a friendly.
It's a friendly. Baseball tonight, Masson 2, Nationals Tigers 6:40, MLB Network Rockies Twins at 1, Athletics Padres at 4, Rangers Dodgers at 10. MLB TV's free game of the day is Marlins Mets at 7:10, ESPN Plus Guardians Reds at 7:10, and TBS for AEW Dynamite tonight at 8. Non-sports.
Stephen Colbert's doing your favorite bit. He's having Seth Meyers on.
These guys, they can't get a guest. They just got to talk to each other.
And then
that was whenever we would go to the Super Bowl. That was what Monday of Super Bowl week was. There were no like real guests, so we just bring on like other radio hosts that were in for doing the. Like, all right, now we get from D.C. Here's Scott Jackson. Like, give me some D.C. Like, it was just you had nobody to talk to.
What do you think of this Super Bowl?
You go to the.
Never been to or
you go to the you go to the Super Bowl and you get there on Monday. Like so some of the PR people started realizing that like there were a lot of stations there on Monday and like nobody to talk to. So they were like, if we brought in our C-level guest on Monday, they'd be like the big. We could get them on all of the shows on Monday. We could get them in every major market. So they would bring in like, I'm trying to think of a good example of somebody like this. Someone that was like a backup quarterback for a Super Bowl. Like, oh, God, Jay Schrader. They would bring in like Jay Schrader. And like all of these, oh, my God, Jay Schrader's here. We got to get him on because there was nobody else to talk to on a Monday of Super Bowl week. That's what I guess it's become for late night. Like they just have to talk to each other.
That show After Midnight, the comedian show. Kevin Nealon will be on that tonight.
Never mentioned that show before. They have comedians on all the time. The show is 3 comedians every night.
Well, I mean, Kevin Nealon's like a notable one.
I think Kevin Nealon's not like. Okay, let's just keep going.
What? I
don't know why we would highlight if Kevin Nealon.
Because he's Kevin Nealon. I like Kevin Nealon. Okay. And
I'm just gonna keep moving.
Tiffany Haddish will be on Kimmel. Camila Cabello will be on Fallon. Will Ferrell will be on Seth Meyers, and then of course Master Chef. On Fox tonight. Then on Netflix is my next guest needs no introduction with David Letterman.
Oh.
2 new episodes.
But who are they with?
It is with Charles Barkley.
Okay.
And your favorite Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, that one maybe not so much. The Mulaney one was good. It was a little. You could tell Letterman is a big Mulaney fan, and like in that way, because you always like Letterman cutting someone down a little bit, and like it was less of him cutting him down, and more. Like he's just a huge fan. I'd love if the Barkley one is a little bit of Letterman getting after Barkley. Like I would like that a lot. I just don't care enough about Miley Cyrus.
Probably is. And then the Apple TV Plus, Presumed Innocent, the Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh right, that thing. Sure, whatever.
Maybe check it out. He didn't do it, just so you know. He didn't kill her.
Ah, thank God. I was so worried about that. All right. Thanks today to Drew. Thanks also to Jim Bowden and to Chayce McDermott. We will get it up in the greatest hits section of the
Oh, my God, it's so good.
tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. Tomorrow on the program, we're going to talk to Mark Feinsand, get some more trade deadline thoughts, MLB Network, MLB.com, baseball writer. And you said Keith Law is going to join us to talk about prospects. Did he drop Jackson Holiday from the number 1 spot? Or was he one of the...
Yeah.
Because I think 2 people did and somebody didn't. I don't remember. We'll talk about it. And stuff and things.
Holiday remained number 1 in his.
Holiday in Keith Law's rankings.
Correct.
So it was maybe ESPN that dropped.
Yeah, ESPN dropped them, and then I think, was it MLB.com?
Maybe. I don't remember. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including... What am I supposed to do? Lie? Like, yes, that's exactly what it was. I don't know. Thanks to everybody at Live Casino and Hotel. I got no sleep last night. I got into the house.
I'm not mad at you.
We really screwed up. When we got there, we came the opposite way to try to avoid traffic, and then we parked over at the Live Casino Hotel in Philly. But in order to get, because we had field seats, we had to walk to the opposite side of the football stadium.
Gotcha.
So it was like the longest possible walk that we could possibly have to and from the stadium.
So it didn't really.
So we didn't even get back to the car. The show, by the way, you would think Rolling Stones, a lot of old people, maybe they put it on earlier. It's literally sponsored by the AARP. Like, you would think that maybe they run it, like, maybe have the band. But on a Tuesday night, they didn't go off until 11:30. Like, I go to shows at 9:30 club that end at 11. The Stone show didn't end till 11:30. I didn't get back to the car until, like, I did stop and buy a $10 T-shirt on the way out. I did do that.
$10, that's it? No.
Well, that's because it's a knockoff, whatever.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
care. $10 outside of even if it sucks, even if it falls apart next week, I paid $10 for it. Inside, they want like $50 for a T-shirt. I'm good. So
it's legit.
I don't care. I don't care. It's $10. So we didn't get back to the car until like 12:15 or so.
Are you sure? Did they spell Stones wrong?
I looked at it. Everything appeared to be spelled correctly.
Because like at the UFC pay-per-view and those knockoffs, they were like the old. It was like I forget like what the old like co-main event was, but like that one fell through. So that was the
they
picture
couldn't
had.
update it. Yeah. Well, I mean that's what it is.
So they had
were they $10? Because
I mean,
it was the last guy.
Didn't see
we
how much
passed
they were.
6 other guys that were selling the same shirt for $20, and we were like, we're good. But then the last guy that we passed, like down past the baseball stadium,
great business model. This
the
guy.
last guy was like, "I'm the $10 guy," and I said, "You're my guy." Same shirt, $10. I'm in. You got me. $10. Went ahead and purchased that shirt, and then went to the car. But we didn't, and then you had to get out of the parking lot, which is still taking forever.
Yeah.
We didn't get home I did not get home until 2:15.
That's not bad, honestly. I mean,
It's not good.
I mean, yeah, but
Not
like,
good.
what did you expect?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm tired. I don't know. Thanks everybody at Pressbox, all of our great sponsors and partners. Live Casino and Hotel. I was at the one in Philly last night. Also visit Hagerstown in Washington County, Cruz, Maryland, Guilford Hall Brewery, Royal Farms, Ed Block Courage Awards, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, the Costa Sin, MSAA, the Baltimore Orioles, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Wednesday evening. Go Birds. Go U.S. men. Why not? Duke sucks.